Live and direct, it is your boy Rome coming from Orlando, Florida. You know what time it is. It is 7 o'clock in Orlando. This is the Sound of Orlando show. This is a place where you come to find out what's going on in the world of hip-hop via our legends. Our legends are everything in this city. When we talk about legendary, when we talk about contributions, when we talk about hip-hop culture in this city, you cannot say too much without saying this man right here. We came from the same class. He started out with the Hitman DJs. I used to be at every party. Shout out to the Lebanese. You know, when we think about hip-hop in Florida, you know, and hip-hop in Orlando, you know, he came with a class of very legendary people, all cut from a different cloth. Shout out to DJ Nasty, who was a part of that crew. Shout out to DJ Khaled, who was a part of that crew. I cannot do the Sound of Orlando show without mentioning this brother as part of that Sound of Orlando. So when we think about hip-hop in Orlando, best believe my brother is on that list. So without further ado, shouts out to everyone in Orlando. I am proud, I'm happy to represent and to bring on my brother from another mother, DJ Caesar. Let's go.
What up, Rome?
What's going on, my brother? What is going on?
Man, just chilling, man. Damn, man, you made me sound like I'm a superstar, dog. That made me feel good.
Bro, you a superstar to me. I don't know how the rest of the city's feeling, but man, dude, you know, to know you for so long. I mean, damn near 30 years of my fucking life. I've known you.
Crazy.
Right. We're still alive. We ain't in jail. You've done some pretty tremendous things in this city, among other legends. So when I think of this city, it's impossible for me to think of this city, you know, the city I love and was raised in, without thinking about you. You know, you're a part of my story. This is our story, you know. So
yeah, man.
It's a crazy time to be alive, but thank God for hip hop, brother. Please believe me.
Absolutely, man.
Who landed on the planet yesterday and do not know who the hell DJ Caesar is. Explain to the people, where you come from. What's your background? How did you get started as a kid going into hip hop. Talk to them.
Wow, it's crazy. So, first of all, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's a blessing to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, it's a love for Orlando, so we definitely here trying to do our thing. Man, you've been doing your thing, fam. Like I've been watching your interviews, so kudos to you. Big ups to that. As far as me, man, like my time started. Jeez, I don't want to age myself right now, but it started back in, like 87, really.
Right.
Somewhere around there. Yeah, 87, I think it was. So I'm coming out of junior high school. And I actually really got started into, like, I was always a dancer back in the day, you know what I'm saying?
Get at Oak Ridge.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I hit Oak Ridge a couple times back in the day, and then they closed it.
Pine Hills, he DJed.
Skate World, that's one. Yes, Skate World was the main one.
Go every Friday and Saturday, man.
Exactly. So I was there, man. I lived there practically. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like during the daytime, came back at nighttime. When they used to have like a little floor that had little lights on it, people would break dance on that until Mike went on. And that was like when, excuse me, I don't know if you remember, but like in the center of the floor, they had like, it looked like an alien ship that was up top.
Oh yeah. And at midnight, you had to take off your skates.
And everybody would come out to the floor.
Bro. It was a battle.
Exactly. So I used to dance back then, and I always had an interest, man. Beat Street was my favorite movie back then, so you know it kind of started from there, and like watching the DJ set up and all that stuff. Man, I used to come back to the crib and try to figure out like how can I get into this, you know what I'm saying? So like, true story, but in middle school I had a what we called a junior high back then. I had a science teacher, dog, that used to DJ our dances. So you remember we used to have the little dances, get your slow jam on and all of that stuff.
Right. You already know, yeah.
Yeah, man. So I used to like, this is, Dr. John was his name, corniest white dude I ever met, man. But he's mad cool, man. He put me on. I was like, just whatever I could do to help out, carry the records. I was that dude. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like set up, whatever. And then he started showing me stuff from here and there, to try to get me engaged with the DJing aspect of everything. And bro, it just took off from there for me. Like that was my main introduction to it in terms of the DJing. I always had my like little vinyl collection I was trying to get when I was younger. My parents had like that, that record player that's like it looked like a table. You flip it up and it had like a record player in the middle of it. And then,
if you didn't have that fucking console,
yeah,
growing up in the 80s, something was wrong with you. And the TV didn't work, but the record player did. So
absolutely. So I remember like back then, my grandmother had a record store in Alabama. So whenever I went up there to visit fam, I was like, I was always intrigued with the, the vinyl stuff and things like that. And of course, because I skated back then, like my first record was Africa Bambaataa Planet Rock, right? She gave it to me. I was in heaven though. I was like, it's Planet Rock. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first 12-inch vinyl. And then it just kind of, stemmed from there. Because back then, everybody, I listened to a lot of rock back then as well, like Def Leppard, Van Halen, all that stuff. So, I had all that vinyl. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was kind of like, I just played around with it on this little system that I had. Got in trouble for scratching, trying to do a little scratch. Of course, my parents were like, yo, you gonna fuck up the needle. Don't do that. This, that. Right. Yeah, man. So, that it kind of grew from there. Got into high school.
No. What high school? High school, man?
So I started off at Dr. Phillips High School.
Okay, so here's the thing. The reputed Dr. Phillips continues to nab every important person in Orlando. Somehow, some way, they're connected to Dr. Phillips. Shout out to Dr. Phillips High School, yo.
Yeah, absolutely. Panthers all day, man.
Right.
So I started there when the school first opened up. So it was a big, dude,
I remember that opening too. You had people from like Edgewater, Boone. Shout out to Edgewater because I went to Edgewater.
Okay.
Edgewater, Boone. Everybody was pissed. Like, what? Yeah. They started music over there. This is a music school. That was like the Juilliard of Orlando at that time because it was
pretty much.
There was nothing, in comparisons to that. You had either band or chorus.
Right, man. That's the crazy part for me because I was just like, yo, at the time I didn't even think about it like that. So I'm a kid, you know what I'm saying, doing our
Right.
thing. And I'm like, yo, man, like there was a lot of people that came out of that school at the time that I was there, let alone that continue to grow from there. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
excuse me. So at the time, I get to Dr. Phillips High School, and I'm like, everybody knew that area for being kind of like Gucci High and all. That was the nickname back in the
Right.
day.
Gucci High, man. Yep.
Yeah, and we had like the Disney experience and all that other stuff. So I partook in all that crap. But my thing back then was DJing. You know what I'm saying? So again, Dr. John, he ended up coming over to that school, and I just picked up where I left off from Lakeview. You know what I'm saying? That was the middle school, the junior high school I went to, and yeah, man, we just kept like he would do all the parties, of course, or the dances at the time, of course. Did the dances, and then from there, I helped him out with that. And before I knew it, because again, I was dancing at the time, I still was like incorporating my break dancing and whatever. I had a partner at the time, Antoine, rest in peace. We used to do a lot of stuff around the school, so we were known for that. But then I go to the dances, and of course, I knew what everybody wanted to dance to. He didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew what the white people wanted, but he didn't know what we wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then at the time, I was also introduced to Nasty because Nasty is nasty. You know what I mean? DJ Nasty. Right. He was from Oak Ridge, so he was a part of Dr. Phillips High School as well. So it was interesting because like at the time, of course, Nasty, what he was doing was always like the hardcore hip hop. So of course, for a predominantly white school, nobody was really trying to hear that during the dances. So I was able to kind of get in on that level with Dr. John, but it helped me understand like how to the basics of DJing and stuff like that. Whereas I was looking up to a Nasty. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The mixtape game and all that stuff. And yeah, man, like started that there at Dr. Phillips. Everybody knows, or a lot of people don't know, but back then it was me, starting in the DJ, and then I came across another kid named DJ Khaled at the time, or Khaled at the time. His brother was also like was a student at Dr. Phillips High School, so his brother was like a year. Actually, I think his brother's in the same class as I was in. So we always used to come across each other, bump into each other, what have you. Khaled saw me DJing at something, was like, yo, man, and I think he had already met Nasty through David, this guy named David Nickel. But Khaled saw me DJing a party. It was a party for the Mickey Mouse Club. It is what it is. We out here in Disney World, you know what I'm saying?
Shouts out to Disney. Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? So did that party, and Cal was like, yo, man, let's try to do something because I want to learn how to DJ. Can you help me out? Can you show me some things, whatever? I said, cool. That was a no-brainer because, again, I was still kind of, trying to get my thing going. Somebody taught me, so I figured I got to show somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Went to his house, bro. He had, I'll never forget, dog. Like he had a Cerwin Vega, like the set of Cerwin Vega speakers and the Cerwin Vega amp. My man, like, yo, I was like, what? I was for somebody who's trying to get equipment because equipment is expensive, man. As a kid,
well, let's talk about that because back then, Cerwin Vegas were like the shit in hi-fi speakers. I remember the ones that had the orange ring around them. And
that's exactly what they had.
Yeah. And those were like everything. You felt like you could rock, an entire city block with that shit.
Absolutely. So, but here's the thing, man. His family had the house version of those. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So they were even more expensive. They
wow.
And they had the Crown amp. So I was like, yo, they had the Crown amp and the Cerwin Vega amp. I was like, yo, my man, like, you gotta. That's a setup for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro.
And you just put Orlando Alert. He just dropped a gem. He said the house version of Cerwin Vegas. I didn't even know. I was stuck on like the poor people had Panasonic, Fisher, Magnavox, Montgomery Ward, not fucking Cerwin Vega. So this is dope. This is dope.
Yeah.
Continue.
And so from there, I had the Fisher brand of the speakers. I'll never forget, but that was like part of the set. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to have that with the tape deck and what have you. But so I got introduced to his family. We started learning some things about each other. Whoop-de-whoop. He was a dancer. He did a little dancing here and there, whatever the case. But yeah. So anyway, So we both connected and was like, yo, let's try to do this together. I'm kind of fast forwarding a little bit, but yeah. Somebody said Mr. Nadler, right?
Shout out to Eva on the check-in. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Nadler. So from there, like Khaled was like, yo, let's start doing some things together. You know what I'm saying? So we came together, and back then, I was just getting ready to turn 18. I had a daughter that was in the oven. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I was just like,
wow.
Oh boy, I don't know. Yeah, man, I didn't know what I was gonna do. My daughter was about to be born. So I'm trying to navigate through high school. I'm on that train where my parents is like, yo, this DJing is not going to do anything for you. You know how that goes.
And shout out to anyone that knows exactly what the hell he's talking about, because hip hop has been under attack from day one, from the parents, from anybody that tells you need a real job. He just outlined the very conversation that many of us had. Like, what the hell are you going? You gonna play records? You just gonna play records? You just gonna rap?
Boy,
you just gonna dance?
Yeah, right? Man. That was always a thing, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, and here's the thing, man. Like, don't get twisted. As a parent, I understand where my parents was coming from, so I can't really trip. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main thing for me. Like, shout out to my man Anson, who was at Remington, just checked in as well. Shout out to Remington. You too, man.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. Like for me, I got it, but at the same time, I knew it. Like again, because I was doing it from junior high school, helping out, and I was breaking down equipment, stuff like that. So for me, I looked at it like, yo, this is gonna be my thing, regardless. And of course, I fought the fight. And
to your point, you just said something really important. Shout out to all my parents out there. It wasn't that they wanted us to stop; is that they wanted us to know. They wanted to know whether we believed in it or not. Because for a lot of people, it's very difficult. Everybody wants to be something, but don't nobody want to believe in themselves enough to do it.
Absolutely.
And so that really is for me being a parent, you being a parent. When I'm checking my children, I'm telling them the same thing. Do you really want to follow your heart? If you're gonna do it for real. Don't half-ass do it. And
exactly.
And you provided. I mean, if knowing you, how long I've known you, I've never taken you for the non-serious type. Like, you may be laid back, and chill out kind of person. But when it comes to what you were trying to do, you never kind of came off as this, I'll do it. I think I'm a DJ. You're not one of those people. So that's always a good
appreciate
thing.
That.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Like it was, and again, it was a good feeling because once my parents started seeing, yo, he's serious, he's real with this. Like, oh man, my partner Jay Johnson, boy, it's crazy ass. Shout out to Jay Johnson, man. He's wilding. But so once my parents understood what was really going on, like again, my pops are still on the I don't know side, but my mom's, man, rest in peace to my moms and my pops for that matter. But my mother, she held it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, dog. Like, once I started collecting records and I got my equipment, bro, my pops put all my stuff on the side of the road because the grades weren't really doing that well. You know what I'm saying? Like, my daughter was born, so I was, I was kind of in my zone. I was doing the normal high school thing, running away, doing all this crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, for me, that was kind of like a blow, but at the same time, I knew my mom's on my back. You know what they say, man. Your mom's always got your back on stuff as long as you show to her, yo, this is what like you said, where your heart is at. Later on down the road, my pops came on board as well, so that was cool. But again, that was my thing, man. I just stayed consistent with that. And again, like I said, Khaled and I, we had clicked. We were trying to, we're doing our little parties here and there. Once we completed those parties, it was like, it became a thing. Like we started becoming known around this area, the area that we were living at the time.
No. Well, you're not.
I ain't there yet. I'm not.
You're not just gonna skip over that. We did a couple jams. No, man.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. No,
but I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I'm getting to that. I know what you're talking about. So we moved through all of that, right? Boom. We do the high school stuff, but while in high school, we connected with Nasty. Because again, like I said, I was always listening to Nasty's mixtapes. But here's the thing, like when I first connected with him, I had already known him for a little bit longer than Khaled had. But when I really started connecting with him in terms of the mindset of like, yo, maybe I can, because Nasty was on a whole nother level, dude. Like, and a lot of people don't really understand, like, yo, that dude right there. Again, people know him for the production he's doing now and stuff like that. But my man, like, when it comes to hip hop and house music,
DJ Nasty, because you know, I met Nasty before I met you, and I was rhyming back then, and I remember listening to him, you know, through Smooth J Smooth. Shout out to Julian. You know,
so I'm gonna get to I'm gonna get to that too.
And I remember being complete, and I had 2 DJs. You know, shout out to all my MCs out there that had 2 DJs, but I had 2 DJs, and I seen Nasty get down, and I was like, oh shit, this brother, you know, and mind you, this was during a time where Magic Mike was doing his thing major, and you know, he was the big sheriff in town, and Nasty wasn't that far behind him at that time.
Correct.
Shout out to Nasty on check it. Continue, my brother.
So okay, so we're in high school, we're doing our thing. Now, what's crazy is, like, again, there was a lot of talent coming out of Dr. Phillips, right? So yeah, he is way older. but there was a lot of talent coming out of Dr. Phillips, right? So there was another dude named Scott Bragg back in the day. You know, some people know him as DJ Scotty B. He used to MC for the Orlando Magic. I think he still might do it from time to time. Obviously not recently because of the bubble, but he also DJs at Blue Martini and stuff like that. So back then, of course, everybody was into martial arts and all that other stuff. So that's another little thing I used to, So he was really, really heavy in martial arts. So that's kind of how I met him. But we also affiliated with a lot of the same people around the neighborhood or what have you. There was a dude named Mike Payne back in the day, and they used to break dance. They had a crew. So he's white. Mike Payne was mixed. You know, he was kind of like, who was he like? He was like somebody. I say it like this. He had auditioned to be in Electric Boogaloo. So once he got that opportunity, so like, you remember Electric Avenue back in the days?
Of course. Shout out to EA. That was Orlando's Roxy, and that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. That was the Roxy of Orlando.
The Roxy from New York, Roxy.
Right, the Roxy from Beach Street, Roxy.
Yes, absolutely.
Was the legendary spot if you knew anything about hip hop, anything.
Absolutely, and it's now called, what is it called? It's the Ace Cafe right now. So it had transitioned from because then after the EA,
No, because Ace is on Livingston. The original Electric Avenue was on Amelia.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, damn. Yeah, see, that just goes to show, because see, back then I used to have to. I had a friend that was in my neighborhood. His father was a popo, so he used to work the door, and he ran that whole area. So from then, that's how we were able to get in there, because that was an older shot. You really couldn't just be a little kid and get up in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I, as always, I look a little older than everybody else. So I was like,
and speaking of that, my brother DJ Infinite says you need to cut that beard.
Nah, man.
And Jesse Jazz has created a hashtag about your beard. So
Lord, there they go.
This is what's going on in 2020. We're creating a foundation to remove your beard.
Man, whatever, man.
So continue.
So we're going through high school. I was hitting the clubs at the time as well. There was Club Scats. I don't know if you remember Scats. Did you ever go to that?
Don't you ever say that in a sentence.
No, I mean, I'm not saying you specifically.
Okay, right. Okay.
But like,
that was the quintessential moment where kids thought they were adults at that one club. That and Park Avenue. Combine those both.
Chill.
Those were the spots that were like complete. Like, we thought we was all grown when we got to
absolutely. Absolutely.
Those were the spots, bro.
And so people that don't know, the Scats was my brother Doc one. See, yes,
sir. On the check-in.
See, Scott, yep. This is that's the guy I was talking about back in the day, where And it's just fun. It's funny because I have pictures from my yearbook at Lakeview when he was breakdancing at some of the dances, what have you. So he was the DJ that in our neighborhood I was able to like relate to all the time because he was always in our neighborhood. So I got a good opportunity to get a hands-on deck feel of what he was, how he navigated through all that stuff. In addition to the fact that he was cool with Nasty. But yeah, man, back in the day, Scott used to be he was a dope ass dancer back then. So Scats was like, they used to have like these competitions and all that stuff. I don't know if you remember like the what was it, like the checkered, everybody used to rock like the checkered outfits or whatever the case would be. So it was
shout out to the Checkers bands trying to copy that, because back in the days everybody had, because you shopped at two places back in those days. You shopped at Chess King, Jeans West.
That's where it came from.
And you went to Scats and you went to Park Avenue. So shouts out to all the dance battles that I got in and destroyed mad people. I'm sorry, but we had to do it. And shout out to all my nonstop battlers, back in those days. Because yes, once you walked through that door at Scats, it was fucking on.
It was
the
on.
Circles started forming, and we were battling the entire city. Felt like it was there at once.
They were, man. That's the thing. And so we move up from that, vibing and everything, and then of course they became the After Hours Club. I was trying to remember, how did we find out about this? It was my man Chris Davis, because again, back then it wasn't just hip hop that we listened to; it was also house music and freestyle and everything like that. So there was 317, the club 317.
Right. And you just said something about house music, because that house music back in the days was a whole different kind of house music. It wasn't the stuff that eventually turned into techno. It was that good soulful house music. 317 was rocking it back then. The house was rocking it. I mean, there was so many places, but this was during the time where they started to get real careful on hip hop. They didn't want to play hip, so you would get like maybe a half hour of hip hop at these places back then.
That's true, because 317, that's right. So Nasty was DJing the hip hop at 317 back then. Right. We used to go over to that spot. If it wasn't after Scats, actually this came after Scats, so that was when Breakfast Club started doing the all ages nights. Right. And I know you remember Breakfast Club. Yeah, Warlock. Oh wow. Scott brought it back with that. Yes. And that's the thing, that Warlock label, man, they had all the good house music on that label. But back then we used to hit those spots, man, stay out late, what have you. Then that's when, of course, Khaled was able to come to some of those, but he wasn't able to do it like myself and Chris and some of the other cats that we hung out with, like Spencer, because Spencer used to be at the skater rinks back in the day as well. Yes. Absolutely. So then from then we would either touch base there and then hit like Breakfast Club and then come back to the 317 or whatever the case would be, right? We started really having some conversations with Nasty, and of course at the time, like you said, Smooth J Smooth, Julian was still with them. Shout out to my man Julian Rowe. They were still doing their thing together. From that time, man, me, Khaled, and Nasty, actually Scott was part of our first party. Now I think about it, Scotty B was part of our first party. Nice. We did a party at the hotel. It was like the Hilton hotels that are across the street from Universal. Right, I remember that. Yes. So we did a party over there.
No, but you skipped over something. Were y'all officially hitmen at that point?
No. So that's the thing. So we did the first party over there, right? Me and Khaled were talking. We was like, we could do this because, again, like you said, hip hop wasn't really being played commercially or amongst other people. Yes. True story. Hip hop wasn't really being played on the radio like that,
And let's be real, Orlando went through a boycott, a very silent boycott of nobody wanting to play hip hop anywhere because they didn't want a bunch of people of color there. And the city was very segregated when it came to music.
Yes,
those
absolutely.
Spots, we went there specifically to hear hip hop for a half an hour, and then we bounced because it was
that's true, man.
There was nowhere to get it. On some next shit. And I remember there people just sitting outside, parked up, chilling,
waiting for it.
Oh, yo, they're playing it now. All right, bet.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
that's true.
That was citywide,
and that was our driving.
Right.
My bad. That's what our driving force was. Like, that's where we had both said, like, yo, there's a crazy opportunity for hip hop to be amongst our people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and generationally speaking, amongst our generation, for that matter, right? Nobody was willing to, like you said, nobody was willing to give it a chance. But this is the thing, like, with us renting out the halls, like, there was other little spots that, you know, from here and there off of iDrive, I can't even remember the name of the venue, but it was a little spot. It turned into like a studio at like, you know, behind Wet and Wild. So like,
right.
There's a little spot over there that they used to do parties over there, and that was cool. But the point that Cal and I had was like, yo, we need to do something at like one of these hotels or whatever the case would be, and just talk to our people, because we were really deep into the hip hop music. You know what I'm saying? Right. And when I say hip hop, I'm talking, you know, like Tribe Called Quest, Gang Starr, Jungle Brothers.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? Like all X-Clan, Public Enemy, all that stuff.
What's going on? What year?
Oh, that's the golden era right there. We're talking about like actually like late 80s and all 90s, early 90s.
Right, that 90, that 91, when things started to kind of really come together. Now, I'm interrupting because I want to highlight and make a significant highlight marker on how important what you decided to do was for Orlando at the time, right? Because 3 people organized, well, however many, and said, this needs to happen, and you made it happen in a desert, right? Like you, like you created water in a fucking hip-hop desert. You know, we were asking all of these people to play shit. They wouldn't. And here you guys come with the fucking balls saying, well, if they're not going to let us in the club, we'll make our own spot. Talk about that, bro. Talk about it.
Yeah, man, it was really important to us because, again, like I said, we just didn't have it as an option. You know what I'm saying? And from the perspective of like, you know, like we really, really devoted our whole well-being to just playing hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like and if it wasn't that, it was reggae. Right. Poor Righteous Teachers, all those cats. Like that was just everything for us, and we needed it. You know what I'm saying? Right. And to be honest with you, at the time, for me, outside of what we saw in the videos, which again, you know, there's New York, but there's, you know, for Orlando, we didn't really get all that. Like all the stations up there. But trust me when I tell you, like, the one thing I will say that I didn't grow up in New York or Jersey. I was born in Jersey, but I didn't grow up there, right? So like one of the things that we had an opportunity from our friends, because you know there's so many New Yorkers down here, they always like would send us either tapes, they would go home and visit, or they'd have people up there that would record the show and then come back and say, yo, this is what's hot. You know what I'm saying?
To people like myself, which walked around with at least 9-10 tapes at a time. We had tapes from Red Alert, Chuck Chill Out, everyone. And that was how bad, like, people have access to this stuff now. You got computers, you got all that. Back then, you either had to buy the records, you had to know what to buy, and you know, if you weren't from that part of town, shout out to New York City, you know, you were really stuck in or limited to what you knew about. So once again, we did it out of necessity. You did what you did out of necessity, not only for you to have it, but for others to have it. You know, and that shit is important for the city of Orlando, dude. Like, everyone benefited. Like, people that had probably no clue of hip hop learned about hip hop through you motherfuckers.
I appreciate man. I mean, and here's the thing, that's the funny part. Like, for us, like, again, like, we were just like, we just had to do it, man. So it wasn't really like we were interested in trying to get, you know, people to. It wasn't like we weren't in it for the stardom of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, for us, it was just like, yo, this is what we wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So from there, my man, Kyle, shout out, man, my DJ Big Boy, man, shouting us out as always, man, showing love. So from there, we did the party at the hotel, right? Scott, I'm pretty sure Scott was DJing at that one as well. But it was me, Scott Bragg, and again, me and Khaled were just like we were really, really new to the game, so it wasn't like we was really doing much, anything crazy. So yeah, Scott Bragg was on it. Nasty was the main DJ, of course. So Nasty and Scotty were the two main DJs, and there were some other people that kind of helped us out with the picture as well. In fact, I don't know if you remember. What's the sound man's name? DJ, you know the soca DJ.
Come on, man, DJ, aka DJ. That's all. Yeah, I remember messing with him forever. You know, shouts out to DJ because he was part of that legendary Jamaica Me Crazy crew.
Yes.
So worked all the reggae joints. You know, but yeah, quiet like a mouse, but that guy can fix the hell out of
anything.
Shit. Right.
Absolutely. And honestly, man, like outside of the hotel we were doing the party at, he saw our flyers. That's another thing. So let me go back to step back a little bit. Like with us, we had this concept of the flyers and having somebody draw it. And my brother Neil Heflin, aka Neil For Real, used to really, really like set us up with these flyers because he was the one who was like doing all nasty stuff and a lot of his artwork, along with this other artist named I forgot his name, but it'll come back to me in a minute. But the point is that back then it was Neil For Real who was really doing all of our flyers. So we had the flyer design and we passed them out, man. My man, like we went everywhere all the time in apartment complexes, hitting people's cars. Because we didn't have this internet access. So so that was our only means of promoting. So this kid or this guy, DJ, is like walking around outside while we're getting set up. I'm like, yo, my man, like, you good? Like, because we never seen him, you know what I'm saying? Like he had a little pouch on the side of his his little shoulder there. We were like, yo, my man, like, he really looked suspect. He just kept walking back and forth. It's like, yo, you good? What's up? Who are you? You know what I'm saying? He introduces himself. He's like, I just came down from Canada. I heard you doing this party. I saw the flyer at Peaches record store.
Shout out to Peaches. Let's go.
Absolutely. And was like, yo, my man, I just want to see what you guys got. You know what I'm saying? Because I do sound and stuff like that. So long story short, that's how we got introduced to him. And he ended up being like our sound man along with CA Studios for the longest times, right?
Shout out to CA Studios for all my Orlando.
My man Cookie.
Right.
Absolutely.
You already know.
Yes. So we do the party. Boom. The party was amazing. Of course we kids still at the time. So all the heads, the kids, you know what I'm saying? Everybody in the baggy jeans. We had the big old, like the Jungle Brother, the whole Jungle Brother look, you know what I'm saying? We had that X-Clan look going on, everything. Everybody was repping.
Everybody was rocking the medallions,
absolutely.
The
absolutely.
What do you call it?
The beads and stuff like that.
Yeah, the beads. Yep. Shout out to my pro black, because I was doing everything was pro black at the time. Black.
Absolutely.
Black.
Yes.
Everything was black.
Absolutely. So we did that. The party turned out great, man. So we all
and shout out to all of your parties never having enough lighting in it. It was dark as hell at that motherfucker.
Oh, that was intentional. That was intentional.
When you walked in that hall, the only light that was going on was right in the front where everybody collected the money. As soon as you walked in that motherfucker, it was just dark as shit. Dark.
Absolutely. That's how yeah. So from there, we linked up, we met up with Nasty. We said, yo, man, this is a success. Joe, we need to really do something with this. And of course, at the time, Julian Smooth J Smooth was part of the crew as well, because he was, he helped us out with the promo. So, yo, we need to do something with this, man. We met up at his manager's crib and was like, yo, let's come up, let's make this a crew and let's start doing parties from here. So, all right, cool. We figured out this is what we're gonna do. It's gonna be me, you, Nasty, or me, Khaled, Nasty, and Julian at the time. We tried to figure out a name. We looked at Nasty's always been in the production thing from back then. So it was like the Untouchables was something that he was always, he loved them as producers. He looked at their logo, was like, yo, why don't we use that with this and put this together and get it to my man Neil, see what we could do. So, all right, cool. So that's what we did. Boom, we came up with the logo. From there, we called ourselves the Hitman just because of the look that I had with it. Right. And that's where history started right there for us. You know what I'm saying? Like it was.
Let's stop right there. Let's slow it down.
Cool.
Little kiddies out there who are listening. The man said it started with an idea, and they put it together. And then next thing you know, hold on, I'm getting an echo.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm trying. There we go. I'm trying to cut it off. My bad. There we go.
Yeah. So next thing we know, you guys invade the Lebanese, and
Yes.
it was that was an institution, a reluctant institution of hip hop for the city
Yes.
of Orlando, because
Yes.
everyone knew your friends, your enemies, everyone had to go. This wasn't something in which somebody could stay home that night and go listen to fucking house music. This
Right.
was like, okay, there's hip hop in Orlando. We're
Right.
going there. Fuck everyone else. This
Right.
is where we're going. And that was so important for Orlando in the development of hip hop culture here. Because without that, it would have been very different. We would have been a fucking St. Louis or fucking, fucking Gary, Indiana. That gave us the cred in the city to want more of it. Like, you made it towards the demand increased.
Yeah.
Because we had to wait so long between parties at times.
Yo, I mean, and that's the thing, like, for us, and thinking about it, like, we were pretty strategic with it, because Nasty was, Nasty is a very, very, very strategic individual, right? When it came to like planning the parties and stuff like that. So for us, like, that was the beginning of, okay, not only were we doing our hip hop, parties, but it was also like a business thing for us. So we came into a concept where, okay, we had an idea. This is where Khaled's family kicked in, because they also had a business that they were doing, and they very, obviously Khaled was introduced to the business world from his family,
right.
And so that gave us a good perspective as kids, mind you, as to say, okay, well, we have an outlet for understanding how the business works and how we can get there quicker versus just trying to learn
slow that down real quick, because I got a lot of listeners on here, that don't have any idea what the fuck's going on in Orlando, right? So they don't know that Khaled is from Orlando. They don't know that. It's not obvious. That's not an obvious question. It's obvious that he's from Miami. It's obvious he's from LA. You're saying you grew up with this man. That's Orlando hip-hop history. He was there at pivotal points of Orlando's transformation. Talk about it.
Absolutely. So again, the stuff we were so involved with trying to do things locally in terms of the community and with hip hop and music and stuff like that. Like, we were just all over the place, my man. Like, if it wasn't hip hop, it was reggae. But me and Khaled, we used to just go. We used to raid parking lots with our flyers and stuff like that. Just like that, because again, that's the only means of promoting stuff. This is when, like, right around the time when Orlando Magic had first came into town. Yep. Khaled was actually a ball boy for the Magic, and so we had access to other things because of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had connects with some of the players. That was when Shaquille was here, of course, when he first came in. He had an opportunity. Oh wow, yeah, Scribe. So there was a lot of people that had he had a lot of opportunities as a result of that. But the main thing for us was like, back then, like, we used to run around the neighborhood and just chop it up with everybody in Central Florida, pretty much. We were from Dr. Phillips, right? But we were always on the east side of town. We were always BVL. You know what I'm saying? The Kissimmee parts of town.
Let's go.
Absolutely. And back then, like, it was for us. It didn't really matter that we were specifically from Dr. Phillips, because not everybody could relate to what we were going through in Dr. Phillips, which really wasn't much, right? So the way we looked at it was, we needed to be in the communities of the people that we're actually playing to. You know what I'm saying? Right. Absolutely. I mean, again, like, because for us back then, it was more of, we just wanted to relate. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for me, definitely, I just wanted to be able to relate, because we had a lot in common. Like, this is the music I love. You guys, a lot of people that were living in those on the east side or down in BVL or whatever the case, they came from New York. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I was basically trying to fit in their world, is the way I saw it. Like, my man, like, this is the music I love. So you were blessed to have to, to have the opportunity to grow up with a lot of that stuff. I was not. So I'm trying to get to where you've already gone, basically. But at the same time, I'm trying to go past that. You know what I'm saying? Both me and Khaled and Nasty, of course, because again, that's when Nasty was putting out those mixtapes. Man,
Right.
Like the tapes that he was putting out back in the day. Whew, a problem.
He was killing the game
Clean.
from early. He was early with it. Shout out to Nasty probably being 50 at this point, or 55. But we all came from the same.
I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I'm talking about we all came from the same class, and
absolutely.
He was the credibility. Shout out to the Ridge. You know,
yes,
he had the credibility already between him and Julian. I remember this. They already had that street cred with fucking with hip hop on that shit. And they weren't doing, once again, a lot of our fight in Orlando was trying to have a space that wasn't either bass music, just bass music, you know, or house music, which all of these things were like the dominant factor at every spot you went to.
Absolutely.
Every function. You had a million bass people doing it, which was dope. That's a part of our culture. Right. That's a part of our fucking story.
But let's be honest though. Let's be honest. Back then, back then we used to be like, and again, it's no disrespect. Well, it's all love now, right? So back then, but we used to be like, yo, my man, like if you listen to bass music back then, because again, like you said, we struggled for our voice. You know what I'm saying? Like the voice of hip hop.
It was like saying, really, when it all boils down to, we can listen to this and you're not going to argue. But if I play this, you're going to argue. It was that shit. That was the more frustrating part. Because and I talked to Train. Shout out to DJ Train, you know what I mean? My dog. We talked about it. The city was fucking divided. You had a bunch of New Yorkers coming down here thinking that we were a bunch of country bumpkins. And so, one, they made it think like we didn't know what hip-hop was, which we did. And when you went to certain spots that played bass music, they felt some kind of way, which they had all the right to feel that way. They're like, fuck that. I play hip hop. You motherfuckers gonna come in here thinking y'all is better than this, when that was a part of the sound too. So you had cities all over divided, and it required people like yourself, others, to say, we're going to be the diplomats. We're going to bring the entire city together. You know, let's play a little bit of this. Let's play a little bit of that. Now, mind you, you guys weren't playing bass music, but a compromise was reggae, right? So a lot of the reggae was played to compensate for certain people to come in and play and feel like people were welcome and not, I got to go to a reggae club to listen to reggae, or I got to go to a bass club. You know, like all this normal Orlando shit that goes on during our childhood. Speak on that.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, we definitely had to play, like, reggae was definitely a part of our situation, because for us, like, you know, like, man, everybody around here was Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was a thing, you know, like, even with Nasty, he did a lot of reggae, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just wasn't, it just was part of the culture, you know? And we all know back in the day, Train said y'all called it Bamboo music.
Yep. Exactly. And he's not lying, because
no, he's not. That was the thing.
That was the divide. If it, you know, at many times I felt like, you know, though I loved hip hop music and I loved it, and I was hip hop all day, I felt like a lot of times that was a green light for a motherfucker to come from New York and feel like we were just like some dumbass country kids. And that's my thing. Right.
That was my thing. So, like, if I ever felt like I had to prove anything to anybody, it was that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, just because I grew up here in Orlando doesn't mean I don't know hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was my biggest thing. You feel me? Like, once people understood, like, they came to our parties, then they understood, like, yo, these dudes right here, they did the research. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're definitely on this shit. Then it was a different conversation. But originally, my dude, like, that whole Bama talk, just because we're from here, from Orlando, whatever the case would be, or we grew up, and again, I say from Orlando because it's where I grew up at. But, like, you know, just that whole talk for a long time used to, boy, That used to, if there was nothing that really got up under me, that was the one
Right,
thing. You know what I'm saying?
because shout out to Train again. Train on the
Yes.
check-in. You know, it was people like them that loved hip hop music
Right.
and would go
Right.
anywhere and didn't give a fuck about any of that shit. But
Right.
then
Right.
to made to be felt like, oh, you coming down here with your Timbos, we rocking M&Ms, or we rocking, you know what I'm saying, white T-shirts or whatever
Yeah.
Orlando used to do in their own way. All of that was a part of this culture of divide. We would dress like we were from here, and it just kept that fucking fire brewing when we were all the fucking same people. Because a lot of the kids that came from New York, you know, didn't live in New York no more. So they were just as much on the outside as we were. You know? And you know, we were pioneering a lot of shit. Shout out to DJ Magic Mike. Wasn't nobody fucking with him. The whole entire city, nobody was fucking with Magic Mike over here.
Nobody.
You know, he had scratches that were fucking futuristic that nobody was fucking with. So go ahead.
It's funny. Since you mentioned Magic Mike, like to take it back to the dancing thing, Magic Mike's first video, if I remember correctly, was filmed out at Dr. Phillips High School back in the day, and Scott Bragg, DJ Scotty B was one of Magic Mike's dancers back in the day. So I'm just saying, like just to kind of circle back to how you said a lot ties back to what's coming out of Orlando and what's been going on in circulation of Orlando. I mean, like there's a lot of shit. And again, I know I'm kind of all over the place with it right now, but back then, you know, like it was me, Nasty, of course, Khaled wasn't really. He was in and out of school, I guess the best way to say it. But that was during the time he was at the 9th grade center. Wayne Brady was there.
Shout out to Wayne Brady. Let's go.
Yeah, man. I used to take him to and from practice from school after, and like he had his plays and stuff like that. I was in the band, so we would always get out at the same time or whatever. I would run him back to Tangelo because he grew up in Tangelo, so I would run him out to Tangelo. I would meet up with my friends out there.
Shout out to Tangelo Park. Let's go.
Meet out with my friends out there, go get a cut from my brother Kerry Stone, you know, stuff like that. So again, back then we had a lot. Who was it? Johnny Damon. His brother was really like closer to me, but like Johnny Damon in terms of age wise, he was at Dr. Phillips as well. So we had a lot of cats that was there at the school. But you know, to bring it back to the whole hip hop aspect of everything, like they listen to our music too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they used to come to our parties just because it was a movement. You know what I'm saying? So like for us, we made sure, honestly, we didn't give them a choice. Basically, like, yo, my man, like we had flyers everywhere, like everywhere. Like there was no, if you didn't, well, and it's crazy because now you can get them mass printed. We used to go to like Kinko's and Home Depot. We get them and print them in the bottom, put for the page, and we have to hand cut them and all this other crazy shit. Like, yo, my man, like
all my Kinko's folks, before there was Photoshop, there was fucking glue. We glued it.
Hell yeah. Put it on the yes, sir. So we took it back then. We used to do we had the parties and whatnot, but when we first started doing the parties, like one of the things that we kept consistent was we always used the theme as a name of a song, the biggest hip hop record out at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, man, like it was like, you know, like if it was like when Pete Rock CL Smooth Troy came out, the name of the party was They Reminisce Over You. You know what I'm saying? In quotes. When the Scenario came out, we had a flyer that said the Scenario. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just crazy like that. Like, shout out to my man Lamont, aka Footwork. That's what he's called back in the day.
You already know, bro. Yes.
So we had that going on, and in addition to all of that, I was also part of a clique called Smooth Joint Productions, right? So I know you rap back then. That's where Doc One comes into the picture. Like we used to have a clique that we had dancers. Doc One was a rapper. His brother was a dancer as well. Y'all know him as Dana, but Aaron or whatever, Aaron Lane. We had a clique, and again, tie back into Scott Bragg. Like he used to come in with that. Nasty was there with us a couple times. Like we used to really, really gel. We had at the time it was called they had, that's when all like the TV shows stuff started popping off, so in Living Color and all that stuff. So we had some dancers that mocked that situation basically. But WPRK, I'm not there yet. We'll get there. But during that time, like we had did a Universal, I first opened up, we actually did a trailer, or like not a trailer, but like when you're like sampling a show to say, okay, well, this is going to be the potential show that
The pilot.
when you try
The pilot
show. Thank you.
Yeah.
The pilot show we did. Scotty B was there. Nasty was the DJ. Doc One, myself, I was a DJ as well, and then who else? And then all the dancers that we had. The pilot for that show then became In Living Color, but we just didn't. At the time, the pilot did not make it as far as it was when it was supposed to be In Living Color, and we did all that at Universal Studios. It was T. Scorman when we did it.
Okay. Just
you didn't know that. See, I put you on to something. Yo.
The
man, you didn't know that, did you?
Did you hear that, Orlando? Did you just hear what the hell this man just said? They were a pilot show for In Living. What?
It started at T. Scorman. That you remember the studio, T. Scorman Studios?
Come on, bro.
Yeah,
come
man.
On. So this is legendary shit, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so all of us were there. Like it was me, Smooth Joint Productions, basically. Nasty was the DJ for it, part of it as well. And then, of course, like I said, Scotty B was one of the dancers. And we went in. T. Scorman put it together. We went in with the project, and we was like, boom, here it is. We didn't hear anything for like a year. And then, of course, 11 Color pops out.
Like, wow. I mean, this is what the fuck I'm talking about. You're listening to crazy. The Sound of Orlando show, and this is a fucking trumpet horn blaring in your ear right now. DJ Caesar, my brother from another mother, is joining the show right now. The whole thing, that whole concept, dude, is just crazy because when you tell people these things, they look at you like you're a fucking maniac. Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh, hell no. You don't know what you're talking about. There's no way that can happen.
Nah, we were all in back then. And again, man, like again, we were still kids, you know what I'm saying? So when I say kids, because we were like 18, 19 years old.
Right.
For myself, I was the older one. Khaled was still young. But the point is that once we started doing the Lebanese club, and again, to bring it back to that, like we started doing the Lebanese club. We had the parties like every other month or every month if we could. Legit, we became like our own little like entrepreneurship type thing. Like we were our own little business, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody else had the street business, street hustle, whatever. This was our hustle, you know what I'm saying? And we used to set up the parties, and the thing about it was, because again, we never really tried to be, we always wanted to make sure we're part of the people, you know what I'm saying? So like for us, everywhere we went, like we spoke to somebody about the party, boom, this is what's going on. But it's funny because back then, everybody has competition. So there was always a friendly competition and stuff. So we called it friendly competition, but it wasn't always,
Oh, come on. I mean, come on. Come on, man. Come on.
I mean, right. We always, there were different crews, I guess the best way to say it. So,
Right. One of my favorite examples is, on the other side of town was a kid named Flash. Like, yes, when we discussed the history of Orlando, you guys were pivotal in making it realized. Like everybody had these fucking ideas of how to work and what to do, but seeing you guys do it on a month to month, and then having those events where people could come in, kick it, talk, and exchange ideas, even if it was in a competitive way, kind of let everyone know that we were all trying to make this happen for the city. It was an united effort, if you will.
Facts.
To do more of it, because like I said, we knew you guys were doing it every month, but for a lot of us, man, we couldn't do that once a month. So we needed that shit every week, and so for a lot of us, you guys opened the doors in an entrepreneurial way, right? You were the McDonald's that opened up, and then Burger King opened up across the street,
right?
And then Checkers,
So funny you mentioned McDonald's, man.
Right.
And that's the thing for us. So you said McDonald's, right? This is, a lot of people don't know this, but Nasty used to work at McDonald's the whole time we DJ'd back in the day. Like, I don't care how much money we made, that brother right there was still working at McDonald's. He was smart like that. And that's one of the things that I always respected about Nasty. Like, it did not matter like money wasn't the thing for him. Like anytime we got bread, it was something he was putting right back into his craft. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
right.
that's what made him so unique with that, and helped us understand. Okay, this is how you stay focused. You know what I'm saying? Like that dude right there, boy. That's another conversation. But shout out to my brother Sam, man. Checking in from Tampa. That's the guy.
We definitely want Nasty on the show. Shout out, Mr. Mollings, if you're listening. We want you on the show. Okay,
yeah, but he gets credit. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You got it.
No. You're good, man. This is all an amazing. Like I said, people don't realize when this whole thing was developed. This idea was developed to highlight the significance that, because when you're in it, you don't realize who the fuck you're touching or who you impacted, right? So for a lot of kids, shout out to all my MCs out there, you guys had the spots that, a group like The Few could perform at, or Larger Than Life, or Warheads, or Paradox, all of these different people who were able to do things because you guys had an existing platform available for the culture.
Right.
That was respected because you did your work. You did your due diligence. You didn't go hiding and then go, to another part of town and collect money. I've seen you guys out there kissing babies and shaking hands. Y'all did talk to the people. But that's what you're supposed to do. You created relationships with people. It wasn't,
and those were our peers.
Right.
Those were our peers. You know what I'm saying? That's why because we were never above any. And to this day, people that know me, like, it's still like that. Even with Nasty, that's the thing. Really stupid. That's the thing. Even with Nasty, you know what I'm saying? Like those are, everybody's our peers. Like, you're my peer. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everything you're doing. And what I was doing back then, we just happened to be on, like, we were on different platforms when we were doing it. You know what I'm saying? But we were all on the same page. And the beautiful thing about that is we was all part of one culture. We were all trying to do the same thing. So it was always love, no matter what people like. Because again, like the whole competition thing back in the day I'm gonna get to that. The whole competition thing back in the day was like, it was love, but it was competition that drove us. You know what I'm saying?
My bad. That old proverbial steel sharpens steel. We gave enough to each other that we always had to come correct.
Absolutely.
We pushed each other so that if our name was mentioned, it would never be mentioned as, those whack niggas. Like, that would never happen. Even if I didn't like you, I would have to give it up out of respect for the culture. And that's what we did. We talked glowingly about being a part of things that represented our city, bro, because we were all fucking there. Everyone was this motherfucker doing an event, I'm there. We go in there regardless. I don't give a fuck what's going on. We're there, and that's what made growing up in Orlando during that 90s, that 90, 91, 93, 4 era was just amazing. Unmatched.
And you mentioned the Warheads, like just to even bring it back again, like when we were doing Smooth Joint Productions, Vaughn was part of our crew at the time too. You know what I'm saying? So it was like Vaughn, Marquise.
Shout out to Vaughn. Shout out to Marquise. Man. Let's go.
He's Dig. Welcome back as always. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. Like, we were all part of a clique. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, Vaughn was like from he came from another school, what have you. Yeah. So, but it was cool. But just again to show you how we all came together. You know what I'm saying? So like we started doing shows and stuff like that. Then from the Smooth Joint production side of everything, then once the artists, like the rappers and whatnot, broke off, did a thing, there was it was the Missing Links before it became the Warheads, right? And that's where there's a Pro Style conversation as well. DJ Pro Style, who was also somebody at the time who, a lot of people don't know, like his sister used to go to my school, to Dr. Phillips at the time, and Pro was still coming up. He used to dance and all that other stuff. So every party he would come out to. But then I went over to DJ a party at his house, at his crib, and he was like, "Yo, man, you got to show me some things with that." So he was the first person. Again, my turntables were my everything, but he was the first person that I actually let borrow my turntable so he could start practicing and understand and learn some things. And then I started teaching him some cuts or whatever. And shoot, that dude right there, boy, he took it. Took off with it, man. I was like, my man, you killing these cuts. You doing better than I am with these cuts. Like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that's love right there. Like, Pro is my dude. I knew him as Alex back in the day, but you know, so Pro is that dude. And again, he was tied into the Missing Links and the Warheads as well. You know what I'm saying? So like, those are the days. Jesse keeps asking about tracks. So we do parties at Lebanese Club. Again, many nightclubs weren't really getting us in, you know, they wouldn't still let us into the club. So it was like, we used to go to them and be like, yo, we got this thing, we doing our thing out here. You know, can we get a night? Can we like just come in and guest DJ? But they would offer us to come in and guest DJ, but it would still be in those like little small increments, like 15, 20-minute sets. So we're like, no. We need to do the whole night. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not trying to just like be a part of a bass night or a house night or something like that.
So hilarious. Think about that. Right? Think about what you just said when it comes to hip hop, what they would tell us.
15, I know.
20
now look
minutes.
At it.
What?
No.
Are you kidding me? Like that's hilarious.
And again, it was wild, dog. Again, we was trying to come up because it wasn't like we were like DJs from the radio station, nothing like that. Like, they didn't know who we were. You know what I'm saying? So but the clubs at the time that we were trying to get into were also like JJ Whispers, Park Avenue. Excuse me, you're talking about like these, and not the JJ Whispers off of Kirkman. We're talking about off of Lee Road, JJ Whispers. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the real JJ Whispers.
Yeah.
You fraudsters.
Yeah. And then there was Park Avenue. These is like grown folks clubs. So we were trying to push the door a little bit. We finally got our break in the Breakfast Club. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lulu, because man, she looked out for us big time.
Bro, shout out to Lulu, the Breakfast Club. It was previously owned by Lulu and Martini James, but then Lulu took over. And that was our spot, bro. That was our spot.
Yes. So we Breakfast Club was it, man. So once we started there, like that was like our first door and introduction into the nightclub scene, basically, right? We did a thing. We had some concerts there, and actually, so I know a lot of people talking about H Ringer in terms of the concerts here in Orlando, but back then, before H Ringer, when we were doing our stuff at the Breakfast Club, there was also shows that were brought down there by I think the dude's name was Andre, was the manager. I think.
Oh, come on, man, bro.
Dre was.
Bro, my brother Dre, that's awesome. Bro. He's gonna give you a big fat hug when he hears this. I just talked to him on Saturday. I just talked to him today. And,
dope.
Dude, Andre Sebastian brought the people down here. He had Chubb Rock come down.
Yeah.
He had, he had Queen Latifah come down. Like, he had all these different people coming down to that Breakfast Club. Shout out to Andre.
So, definitely. That was back when. So he brought down K Solo.
Right.
So we opened up. So it was me. It was Smooth Joint Productions, and I think were you DJing with us on that one?
I might have. It's a lot of years and a lot of things ago. So.
You stupid.
So.
So
there. All I know is that I lived there. What went on there now is just like a blur.
Chill. I got you. But yeah, that was like when he brought down K Solo. And Redman was the DJ for K Solo.
Right.
Boy, that was a show. So EPMD, K Solo. Oh yeah, the dance battles at the Breakfast Club was crazy, man. If it wasn't up on the top stage, it was down at the bottom stage. You know what I'm saying? It was insane. So yeah, Dre used to really bring in a lot of shows. And back then it was Rude Boys. Remember when they were the Roger them, like Yogi, DJ Yogi.
Right. Shout out to DJ Yogi. Let's go.
Yeah, man. So like,
Pine Hill's massive. That's all. That's all on Pine Hill's massive. Represent Yogi. My man B. Like there was so many people out there. From Pine Hills representing hard in that Breakfast Club era, dude. Straight up.
Yes. People hit me up. My bad. They're trying to find out where the link is. I go to my Facebook. Let me hit them up.
If you're trying to get on the show, go to @thesoshow.com or get on Caesar's page. Or get on my page. We're talking the history of Orlando, the Encyclopedia Britannica method. So please believe me, we're shouting people as we go out because this is this is historic. This is beautiful. When you're hearing your story back to you, it just does something special and incredible.
Absolutely,
keep going,
man.
Continue.
So we doing the parties at the Breakfast Club and everything like that. And that's when we realized, and again, we hadn't touched the radio stuff, right? But back then, and shout out to my brothers Rich and Ray from 102 Jams. Back then,
shout out to Rich and Ray. Let's go.
Yeah, man. They were DJing at Breakfast Club. They had Breakfast Club and they had everything on lock. They had Breakfast Club, JJ Whispers, Park Avenue. You know what I'm saying? Like they had it on lock. And that was like, you know, like they had just really, you know what I'm saying? Like them dudes right there, like, damn boy, they go back. Cause they used to, it's crazy because a lot of people don't realize they DJ.
They were DJing everywhere. It seemed like you couldn't go.
You couldn't get in.
DJing at multiple clubs. Like it just
you couldn't get in.
Right. And
so back then, you remember like they used to have the battles at the Beecham, the DJ battles. So it was like
Shout out to DJ Lab. They used to be there too.
Oh man, come from man. So like, and that's the thing, like, and this is the original Beecham. Now it's back to the Beecham again, but it was Beecham, then it became Zuma Beach or something else.
Decos. It was
Decos,
Taboo. Yeah.
Taboo, yeah. Then so you remember that was back when like we'll get to that anyway. So yeah, man. Twice Nice and them used to DJ. They would break dance. They come out there. They'd be DJing. They get out on the floor, and start breaking and doing all that crazy shit. So times was good back then, man. Because we used to really. Oh, my brother Chino. Wow! Yes. Shout out to my man Chino.
Yes.
So yeah, man. Like we used to really go in and do stuff back then, and it was like, all right, cool. Now we're starting to see things pop. You know what I'm saying? Now clubs are starting to see who we are. Like people starting to recognize. There was like local DJ battles that happened. That I'll be 100 with you. Like I never really got into the DJ battle thing back then because I just didn't feel. I felt like if I was gonna get up there, I needed to represent. So it was really nasty to represent for the crew originally. And when I say back then, I'm talking about like Visage days. You remember Visage?
Oh my God! The epic fights that went on at Visage. Visage was literally the what do you call it? The fight club before that club, dude. It you could count on your watch. As soon as that club let out, it was going to be either a fight or a shootout. Shout out to Visage, yes.
Yeah, but that parking lot was a trap, dog. Like
dude, it was a trap. There was like two ways to get in that motherfucker, and easy to block off. Shout out to anybody that survived Visage. Let's go.
Yeah, and that back then, that's when the DJ battles was really taking place. So like, you know, they used to, I forgot what they called them, but they used to host these big ass DJ battles there. So like. At the time, of course, Ray and Rich were like way above that level, but it was still like Nasty. The two main ones that was really people were focusing on at the time was Nasty and Scott Bragg, Scotty B, right? And again, it's on our level, you know what I'm saying? Not Magic Mike and Rich and Ray and them. But so once we started really elevating from that, man, like we still had that element of house music that was still going on with the 317 and all the other stuff right there. So it was like it was an amazing feeling because then there started to be there. That's when Rollins College Radio was going on, WPRK. DJ Kano was DJing there.
Right.
And then
shout out to the Funky Underground, yo.
Yes.
You know,
Nap Nitty, and so they would come in and Nasty would do his hip hop sets during that, and then that transitioned to they left there and then went to 317. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how everything started coming together. And you remember back then, dude, we used to have like clubs we go to after hours. It was like around the clock, everywhere we touched. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And at the same time, like it was a great opportunity for us to pass out the flyers. Again, so we had we had a clique, man. It was just like it was a good time, dog. And we just started putting people on. Like we had a group from Cimarron to help us out. Shout out to the Cimarron girls, Patty, all them cats. Like they went in, they helped us out, and then of course we had our people doing things like the Oak Ridge, the tight Oak Ridge clique. My brother Elliot, Nasty's brother Lenny, Carlos Chanel, all those cats from Oak Ridge, and they were our security. And bro, everybody knew they just didn't play. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we went out and had a good time, and we passed our flyers and everything. And that's really, man, honestly, that's how we started getting our name in the game on that level. We ended up, so Jesse, to speak to Jesse and Tracks, at the time, you remember, who was it? You remember 8 Ball Productions with Disco and everybody back then?
Shout out to 8 Ball Productions in Orlando History Folklore. Let's go.
Absolutely. So there was that, like, we go back to the whole bass conversation. So I there was that element of like, yo, look, this is not what we doing, but we had a lot of respect for them. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Right.
Disco and them were like, we looked up to them on that level because they were already, you know, they definitely had a formula that was working for them in terms of doing the parties at 8 Ball Productions, and we looked up to them on the other side, basically to say, okay, look, this is who we need to be like, but on the hip hop side. You know what I'm saying? When I say hip hop, meaning like the East Coast, the Caribbean thing, right?
Right.
So it was either a Hitman thing or yeah, absolutely. It was either a Hitman thing or the 8 Ball Productions party, right? But we weren't old enough to go to all the 8 Ball Productions things. So we had this venue called Tracks, which is again over there off of I-Drive behind Wet and Wild area.
Shout out to anyone that knows what the fuck Tracks was, because I remember it felt like that club was open for like 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden it went from, yo, we going out to I-Drive, what? And then what happened to that club? Oh, it's not there no more. What? Yeah, please talk about that.
We had we went there, was like, all right, cool, we got a venue, we're gonna do a night there, do a party, so the owner comes in, he's like, all right, cool, we'll set something up, we set up a date, right? But then 8 Ball, again, man, they had the city, like 8 Ball Productions, they had the city. Whew, it was a whole nother level. But again, on an older level, right? They came in and they offered them to do a party there as well. So I don't know how the business went down between that originally, but the point is that they reached out to us, we reached out to them, we came to agreement. It was like, all right, cool, y'all can have it. Obviously, y'all are, you know, at the time they was killing the game, you know what I'm saying? So we're like, all right, cool. But here's what we'll do. Since we're gonna lose a night, we'll do this little thing where we kind of act like we're kind of blowing up Tracks, you know what I'm saying? We'll take our party back to the Lebanese club or to the Rotary Club, because we used to alternate over there as well. And we'll pitch it as like, we're shutting Tracks down because they shitted on us, basically, right?
Right.
And again, it was like a marketing strategy, basically. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we got together with Neil. Neil drew a flyer of a dude pushing like a TNT thing. Boom, blowing up Tracks. Track is blowing up, right? We're doing a party somewhere else, and that's how we did it. Yep, right. Backstage or clearing. Yes, absolutely. So that right there was how we kind of really connected with 8 Ball, and from there moving forward, man, we became like family, like legit. Like we used to, on the nights we weren't doing parties, 8 Ball would always invite us into the parties. I'm talking about Khaled was like just turning 16, and we were in 21 and up parties easily. Why? Because Disco and them used to show us love. DJ, rest in peace. Like Cameron and all those cats, we used to walk in there and just be like, what up? And they would tell us, yo, he'll take us to the back. Just chill in the DJ booth or whatever. Me and Khaled would break out the Tunk cards, because, you know, back then, everybody played Tunk. My man. You already know.
Anyone that knows how to play Tunk, it is not rummy, okay? It's 5-card rummy. It's Tunk.
Yes. We break out the Tunk cards and legit, like, because again, we weren't really interested in all the music, but I'm not gonna lie to you, like the way Disco and the road, the mic and all the other crazy, like to us that was fascinating. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like, yo, this is a talent, because they knew every word to every song and they made it was perfect.
Shout out to Disco and the City Boys.
Absolutely.
DJMC.
Yes.
Shout out to Train. They you know, they were in good company of Jam Pony Express. Shout out to Jam Pony Express, you know, and that was so pivotal for Orlando at the time, because it kept, you know, our sound and our way of doing things authentic to other cities that were trying to do what we were doing. So continue.
Yep. And so from there we get in with them. We're doing stuff with them, you know, like, you know, just chopping it up, whatever. They started showing us some more business stuff and understanding the ropes of the business. Doc one got me on the Tunk game. I'll give it to him. He showed me some things on that, and he did teach me a lot of that. But then from there, boy, them games we used to have with me and Khaled, we used to go in. We used to go to a lot of Caribbean places and play Tunk. So that was our thing. You know what I'm saying? But so we go through. We're doing our parties at Tracks. We also started popping parties over at International Reggae Club with Mikey and them. Man, it was just dog. It was love, man.
Shout out to Mikey, Black Culture Lounge. Let's go.
Yes, Black Culture Lounge. So it was love, man. And the beauty of it, dude, was like throughout every day, and a lot of people didn't realize this about me and Khaled and Nancy, how devoted to the game we were. Legit. Every day, like while I was still in high school, we used to break off during lunch and drive to all the little record spots and hit them up, all the mom and pop record stores, and get up all the promo records. And we would do, we hit the same routine every day. I mean, every day. And legit, excuse me, Nasty would go to one spot, then I would go, me and Caleb would go to, because, you know, he couldn't drive at the time. So, you know, I would go to hit up a number of spots, and then we'd come back to school. And sometimes we may end up skipping school here and there, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but we had to take, for me, it was taking my lunch money. Caleb, it was lunch money and then some, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was whatever I had, man. We took it and we hit up those record stores, and Nasty kind of put us onto that. And then we just kind of blossomed from there. And every store that popped up, we was in there. Every store that popped up, hands down. We're just trying to beat to the game. And it got to the point where they knew, like, yo, okay, C's coming in, Cal is coming in, Nasty's coming in. Yo, just make sure you put these records aside. We give them a call. They call us, let us know. Because, again, we still didn't have that connect to the labels like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was our thing. Boom. Fast forward, we get into, like 93, 94-ish, around there. We had, so a lot of people don't realize, like, tying it back to Orlando, Jack the Rapper was like this big, everybody, I mean, the heads know what the music convention Jack the Rapper was. His family lived here in Orlando. So
shout out to Jack the Rapper. That was another institution in hip hop that it might not have yielded a lot of success from artists per se, but it did bring a lot of people together that otherwise wouldn't have gotten together. You know?
Well, yeah. But I mean, there was a lot. Well, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So Ian, my brother Ian, he's the younger one of the family right now, but like Nakia back then was heavy with us.
Shout out to Nakia. Nakia, bro. This dude was the shit. You know, we knew it's like every group needed a Nakia. Nakia was just that dude. He was ready for anything. Every time he seen him,
always ready.
Yo, you ready? Let's do it. Whatever.
Always.
Shout out to Nakia.
we picked up on the whole Jack the Rapper thing. We started. Nasty had already known about it from being, diving into the industry and stuff like that. So of course for us it was like, all right, cool, let's figure it out, let's go. So once we started getting connected with the whole thing, Rip It Records, like once we started getting connected with the whole, Jack the Rapper thing, bro, we was up there every convention. Typically they were in Atlanta. Obviously they had the ones in Orlando, but the main ones that we were really like enjoying like that was in Atlanta. I'm gonna be real with you, because like when we were in Atlanta, I'll never forget, like the hotel that we were in, I think it was a Hilton. So it was like it's the one where all the rooms are on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Like it was my first time really being in that type of situation. Man, rest in peace to Fife though. Like I remember we like coming outside and going to a little restaurant, and Fife was sitting in there with his Georgia Tech gear on. I was like, yo, my man, this is crazy. Like I'm right next to these dudes. Like this is when like Puffy and this is like when Puffy and excuse me. What was Bad Boy Records at the time?
And they had. I know you're gonna say Puffy. Shout out to Puffy. I mean, he made fucking Uptown Records. I mean, he was a part of that Uptown Records thing. But that Biggie and Craig Mack, that Big Mac promotion,
that's it.
Incredible.
It was like,
that was genius.
Yeah, it really was, man. And that was that's when they first brought it out. So it was like,
right.
They walked around the campaign. They had the little Bad Boy Baby and all this other crazy shit. Like, and then they had that Big Mac and legit, like you open up the Big Mac and it had the Puff, it had the Bad Boy logo in there and stuff. Big Mac and then Biggie on there. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Craig Mack, Big Mac. I see what y'all did there. So that was dope. Yeah, so boom, they walked around. Yeah, but back then I was like when Usher was still coming up, TLC, all those cats was there, man. Like Criss Cross, like. Fat Joe. It's crazy because I have a picture. I don't even know if I got one of mine somewhere where we took a picture with Jack the Rapper. Actually, I was taking the picture, but Khaled, Nasty, and Nakia, Fat Joe. Like it was like Joe used to sit there and just have ciphers with everybody, dog. Like it was like he loved that nigga. Yo, my man loved ciphering. So like it was just a dope feeling, man, because it was everything like hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Again, when I say when I say hip hop, I'm saying culturally speaking. So it had the b-boying, graffiti, all that stuff. But it was also it wasn't just the East Coast thing. It was a a Miami thing. You know what I'm saying? It was also West Coast. It was Midwest. Right. Everybody was in. Obviously, it was in Atlanta, so Outkast and the likes of Outkast and everybody else was out there as well. So it was dope from that perspective. But we was in the hotel, and I'll never forget. Like Red Alert started that whole chant, the "Hey yo," and the whole hotel was like, "Aight." That's like, oh shit. I'm in. Say no more. I'm here. And like parties were lasting like all night long. So like they had seminars, and again, it was about business, but they had a lot of stuff going on. So Babyface was always there. Like, right. It was a great opportunity for those acts to really get to expose themselves to the radio industry, vice versa. People passing out mixtapes, tapes as well. Like the promo game was on. It was and that's where for us, that's where all of that stuff came from. So shout out to my girl Tanya, holding it down as always, man. Like so for that, that's where all of it for us. That's where we got the understanding of how to promote and market, which is why you see. Like the likes of Khaled doing what he does right now, and the way I've always invested in the marketing and stuff like that, and all of us, because we grew up with that. We had no choice, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we had to do it with a passion.
And you're alluding to the fact that Jack the Rapper, the New Music Seminar, these were things in lieu of the computer, that was the internet. That was a physical internet where you could go there. Probably meet somebody, a record company from fucking Japan or whatever. But you could go there and meet a broader network of people, and you knew that date was going to come up. And you didn't even necessarily have to go. You could just be in the city in which they were doing it in, and people were all hanging out and walking around.
Oh, man.
And you could always, how can I be down? Yeah. Shout out to Rhythm Steele on the How Can I Be Down. Yeah, that was so important for hip hop, and there was a time where everybody kind of got together. Whereas right now, yes, we do have a lot of cities in which and this is part of the reason why we have the show. There's a lot of cities that their whole motto is like the Jack the Rapper now. They turn Atlanta into Jack the Rapper. Period.
Yes.
The business model of Jack the Rapper is now Atlanta.
Absolutely. That's what we need here.
Right. It's about togetherness, networking. Not necessarily buying into someone's politics, but not allowing their politics to not allow you to run for Congress. Right. This idea where we all have to agree, like you have to agree with me for me to help you is ridiculous. That's why shit doesn't get done in the government, So
bureaucracy.
So to your point, that was very important those years for people to network and kind of see themselves bigger than what they've done already. Being around those stars.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Like it was a good time during that time, man. Like I'll never forget though. Like Eric Sermon had. They had a studio that was in a rim shop because they used to run rims. They used to do rims back in the day, and it was down the street from. It was off of Peachtree, but it was down the street from where the whole seminar or the webinar. I'm sorry, the seminar was always held. I'm saying webinar because we're in this web.
Right.
But where Jack the Rapper was being held at, and we used to go down there and just try to go get drops. And back then, that's when everybody used to go get drops on it. Like you remember, you said a little recorder. You'd be like, "Yo," you hear all the background noise and everything. They're like, "Yo, I can get a drop real quick, man. Yo, you got me? Oh yeah. Yo, what's up? This is Eric Sermon Chiller." You know what I'm saying? Like
everybody wanted drops.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
A place exactly. So we were able to be a part of that big time. Like that was a big thing for us. It was a little expensive, but you did what you had to do. You know what I'm saying? Like for us, that was a thing. And then we used to fly out to New York for the New Music Seminar. That was when I first, I'll never forget, like when we were up there for, was it New Music Seminar? I think that was it. The first one, Clark Kent was up there. They had a DJ battle up there. This is when Wu-Tang first started coming out. So they were walking around the streets, passing out their records. And yes, it was vinyl. And the first record was on the flip side, on the B side of was it Wu-Tang Clan? No, it was swinging through your neighborhood like this.
Let's protect your neck, brother.
Yeah, protect your neck. So on the B side of that was I want to say was
Man. It was Method Man.
Was it Method Man? Okay, yeah. So
B
and it was like
side of
an
that was
orange and yellow. Yeah, it was like an orange and yellow record. I was like, yo, all right, yo, it is what it is. So, like, while you're walking down the streets, everybody would just be passing out records. You collect them in a record bag, and then wait till you got home. You just couldn't wait to get home to put it on the turntable. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's when we first really got to understand, like, okay, here's how we fit into this big scene in New York, because we was going to our seminars up there. We saw the DJ battles. And bro, it was amazing, dude. Like, it was a good time. We don't really have shit like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Again, like, to bring it back home, that's what we need to really get back to doing down here. And that's something, like, you know, I know you've been trying to spearhead. We've talked on that once you came back down. Like, we got spearhead some of those projects. Like Jesse and I have been talking about some things. We've been trying to work up some things and get some things started down here. My partner Jay and I have been talking through it. That's why, like, you know, we had a show that we're trying to do, like that outdoor show for the Mr. Cheeks show. The objective with that was to get that kind of started again and get the vibe going. The DJ battle, having the whole artistic thing, have all the elements there. You know what I'm saying? Like the graffiti. That's what we do with our old school shows. That's why we brought them back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole mindset with it all. But again, to go back to the history aspect of everything, like, we go through, we do the parties. We start getting, a little bit more notoriety. Nasty got his first opportunity to spin on 1 or 2 jams from winning the DJ battle at Visage. And then that connected us with more people on that side of everything. So then that's when we were introduced to, and again, remember, Khaled was still doing the B-boy. He wasn't the B-boy, but I'm saying, but he was still doing the ball boy thing for the Magic. So he still had to connect with that, in addition to his parents owning a clothing store down here called Park Avenue Men's Clothing, which they serviced all the basketball players in respect to their clothes, because they're big old boys, so they customize, their suits and all that stuff, and we used to, deliver them to them. That's when we discovered. Well, we didn't really discover, but that's when we were able to really get our feet in the door with Heroes nightclub, and then that's how we connected with
to Mr. B's.
Yes. Oh, Mr. B's. Yeah.
Heroes.
Yes.
Because of the infamous Jerry Reynolds.
Jerry Ice Reynolds.
Yes, who took that club and said, you know what? We need something that is strictly for our people out here. Yep. And he spearheaded something that I think on a lot of ways it hasn't been done since. Heroes was a definite. I thought it would start out kind of like Club 436, which it did, but it eventually wound up being the mecca for anything hip hop going on in the city at that time. Shout out to Heroes. Yes, bro.
Like that us meeting them and being connected with them was just like, bro, it was everything, dude. Like, and at the time, it was Jerry Reynolds, the owner. Wayne was like,
shout out to Wayne. Let's go.
Yeah, you already know. And then, of course, the man Howard Ringer. So Howard had this little, like, Howard's on the whole level, dog. Like,
shout out to Howard, like, bro, because that dude right there, he's coming on my show here soon.
I saw that. Yes, that's big.
And he's done so many things for so many people.
So many.
He probably won't get all the credit that he deserves, but for what
I'm gonna put it out there.
Yeah, for what he's done,
it out there.
For the culture is paramount.
Absolutely. So I'll put it out there because if he doesn't get it, then it's I feel like it's always my duty to at least try to do and show love for everybody that was part of our success, number one, but not just that, but for the city as well. And definitely Ringer, definitely that dude. So if anybody ever asks you, like back then when the concerts started coming through, outside of the ones that were happening at the Breakfast Club originally, all the concerts that came through with the artists that we really, catered to basically were like, with, the, what do you call it? Like, all of the Method Man shows when Raekwon came down, the GZA, like Nas, when Nas came through, Biggie, bringing down different DJs, Ron G, Common.
I mean, the list goes on
and on. So back then, but see, the thing was like Howard gave us that chance because again, we were up in Heroes, and again, I was, I wasn't 21 yet, but I was like 19-ish, somewhere around there.
Right.
Khaled was 17. We weren't supposed to be in there. Long
Right.
story short, we just wasn't supposed to be in there. Yo, I tell you, man, like from that point we met Howard, like all we had to do was call him, yo, H, we good? Yeah, no, cool, come on in. But we had to stay in the office, you know what I'm saying? Like from time to time we got to go inside the club and walk around. But you know, grown people don't want to see little kids walking around the club, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Ringer would just let us sit up in the office. And that's a lot of trust to let us that he didn't really like he didn't know us like that at first, but once he got to know us, he put a lot of trust in us to sit up in the office with him. Of course, you know, he had a little thing there, so it wasn't really like we were do anything, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, but the fact that he gave us that trust and showed us that love, fam,
and shout out to Howard
right
because he was a very quiet, to himself kind of guy. If he smiled, if he laughed, it was kind of like, wow, you know, it was a surprising
got a lot
thing.
out of him.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, he was a very straightforward, good dude. I remember many times on many occasions, shout out to R.I.P. Jimmy Jams, who was the DJ there at Heroes. Yeah. You know, we wouldn't even be on the bill. And I remember just rolling up to Howard like, man, dog, you ain't going to let us play, man? You ain't going to let us open up for this motherfucker? And he would do it in a heartbeat simply because he was a part of hip-hop culture just as much as we was. He was just older than us. But he was about that culture, too, in a lot of ways. So shout out to Howard.
And he just opened up the doors for all of us, man. Like, because he gave us the opportunity to be a part and connected us with a lot of people. Like, yo, he knew everybody. Kid Capri, Red Alert. You know, he was the. I mean, and much love and respect to Pat Nix and Frontline Promotions, but Ringer used to bring down Kid Capri first before Frontline did, and it was at Heroes, right? And he knew him like that, you know what I'm saying? So it was always that connection. He never like anytime they came through, yo, he would always introduce to him, yo, these are good people here. These is upcoming cast doing thing down here in Orlando. You need to know them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was you know, if it wasn't Kid Capri, it was Ron G. If it wasn't Ron G, it was Red Alert. Red Alert was his man. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't Red Alert, it was what's her name? The female DJ from that era as well. Like what's her name?
Jazzy Joyce.
Yeah, Jazzy Joyce. If it wasn't Jazzy Joyce, it was somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew all them cats. And then of course, like you said, to bring it back to the whole to the Jack the Rapper conventions, when they had it here in Orlando, he made sure that we had a venue that Jack the Rapper could have all the shows come to. So that's when like Gangstar used to go there perform. KRS-One is his man. They was always there performing. But the bigger picture was everything that happened over at Jack the Rapper that Disney wasn't trying to have happen at Jack the Rapper. They was like, yo, Howard set up everything. We had him shuttled over to Heroes and we did the shows over there. And that was like everything. That was a blessing. Met the band, man. Yo, so many shows between like there's just so many shows, dog. Like,
and that, I said, that became a hip hop mecca.
Absolutely.
That wasn't a foreseeable plan. It was a very classy kind of after hours spot that the grown folks went to, and then slowly
that upstairs room though.
Yeah.
That upstairs room though. Yeah.
You already know, bro. You already know.
Yeah.
But that became the Harlem Nights of Orlando.
Absolutely.
That was where you all went, to see celebrities. All the celebrities went there.
All of them, especially the basketball team, because obviously Jerry was playing ball there. Nick Anderson used to come in. And also, man, this is like, again, this is where like we started really kind of connecting with Shaq. Khaled knew him obviously a lot more because he had been doing the ball boy stuff. But they actually, Shaq DJs now. But a lot of that really started when he was first down here. Like he wanted to start learning how to DJ, and Khaled, and we used to try to connect with him, and Nasty, and even Nick Anderson. You know what I'm saying? Like we joked around with it a little bit. But the point is, like, there's so many people back then that we all connected with because of Ringer, bro, and Jerry. You know what I'm saying? Like and it was just love, man. Like, and I see Sandman checking in. Like, again, Ringer opened up doors for a lot of stuff that happened down in Tampa. Of course, Tampa had already had their hip hop scene, for the most part, but Ringer brought a lot of shows down there through Sandman when Sandman was down there. And like, it's just so many. And again, he'll probably correct me if I'm wrong with a lot of stuff, but like I can tell you, man, Ringer brought a lot to Orlando. It's the whole Central Florida area, period.
Right. He did not only brought people down, but he gave like a platform and an opportunity for up and coming artists out here.
Artists,
like they didn't come down. Like he didn't just bring down artists and be like, all right, New Yorkers or whatever, y'all could do y'all thing down here. Like he allowed people like us to get on that stage and let them know what they were walking into. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
So shout out to all those. I mean, not all the events were, you know, winners planned, but you know, shout out to the Biggie concert. But
come on, man, stop that.
but, you know, that's.
But that wasn't. But
you can't.
But did you know that
you can't do great shit without having things go wrong sometimes?
So do you know the story behind that show?
I was there. And
but did you know the story behind the show though?
Well, tell the story to the people then. Let's hear it.
Okay, so boy, so that was during the time when obviously Craig Mack and Biggie was coming up, right? Shout out to my brother Doo-Wop. That was during the time when the whole Faith Evans thing was going on. Yeah, Tupac situation. So remember now, 102 had put on a concert down here. I don't know if you remember, but 102 had put a concert down here. 102 Jams back then had put a concert at the fairgrounds, right?
Right.
And Tupac was there. Come on,
Shaq man. Was there. That was the night.
Yeah.
We opened up at that show. Let me give you some context. It was Queen Latifah. It was Janae. Tupac was there. And there was a few more others. And Dennis Scott had threw the whole
3D.
3D. Yep. And we opened up, and that was the night I met Tupac. Not the Tupac everybody knows, you know, the Tupac that was before the gangster shit. That was actually
Brenda's Got a Baby Tupac.
Brenda's Got a Baby Tupac. And you know, it was a great Flavor Unit was doing big things in Orlando at the time. So Absolutely. It was a great time for that hip hop shit going on down here. So I know exactly what you're talking about. That was continue.
So we go to the show. It was at the skater rink. And at the time, you know, the skating rink had pretty much shut down. The traditional skating rink that they had shut it down. We set up a concert stage there. Boom, everything is set up. Ring's got connections again because Clark Kent is Ring's man as well, and DJ or Easy Moby and them. All those cats is cool, right? With H Ringer. So the show gets set up. Everything is supposed to be what it is, right? I think we did Craig Mack first, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Craig Mack was first, and then we came back to do. How did it work? Was it Craig Mack first, and then we came back to do the Biggie and Craig? No, so it was a Biggie and Craig Mack show. Biggie obviously was the main act. Right. So we come out. Everybody's like, you know, Craig Mack does his thing. Cool. Everybody's waiting for Biggie to come on. Because of the whole drama that was going on between, I'll just say it like this, but the drama between Pac, the Faith thing, and Booty Boot, right? Biggie just wasn't in the vibe. He wasn't feeling it, and it wasn't, his intention was to be there and to come out and do a show, but it just wasn't. He couldn't do it because it got him like that. You know what I'm saying?
And that was the worst, in my opinion.
Yeah. No.
That was the worst place you could have took Biggie to perform at that time.
But we didn't have nowhere else.
No. But,
no, we weren't. The heads were not hearing it.
No, bro. Metro Skating Rink in Pine Hills. You got to come. You can't have an off night over there, bro. You can't.
No, you're right.
Showing up. Shout out to the Rotary Club. Shout out to, you know what I'm saying, like that whole area.
And this is it.
Hills, bro. This is it. Like you can't come out there, bro, and have an off night. You can't.
And that's the thing for it. Yeah, that you're right. So we.
That was the worst place to take him.
So Clark Kent is up there doing his thing. Somebody has to announce it, right? We know because at the point once we find out, we're like, yo, we don't even know. Like And we just like you talking about, like me, Cal, and Ass were like, shit, I ain't about to go up there because Heads was in there drinking. We already knew it was no plastic bottles and nothing like that. It was straight Henny bottles and Heinekens, and it was if you did, you know what I'm saying, like, so when we
and really take this picture, because when we're talking about Crime Hill, shout out to all my people from the hills. You know what I'm saying? You got Pine Hills Road, you got Kirkman, you got Ivy Lane, you got Old Winter Garden Road, Mercer Drive. Like, that's not the place that you bring up Biggie and say he's not performing. That's not what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't supposed to go down that way, but
right.
Once we got the word, at least
that was epic, because to me, the response was equal to the not perform, because
correct.
Our city, like I said, we're a flyover city in a lot of people's minds. Like, we ain't got no heart out here. Like, we don't represent hip hop out here. Like, just a bunch of dumb fucks that go to Disney every day. Like, that's not the truth. The truth is we got pride for our city. If you come down here, we spend all our money. We want shit to go down.
Facts.
And people gotta treat us like that. So when they came down, the response made sense. You come down here, you fuck around. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, man, and forgive me because I'm looking up at the screen right now because I'm supposed to be at work. So the word gets announced. Clark Kent is doing his thing, and shout out to my brother Clark Kent, because like that's the truest dude. Man, I tell you, like that, bro. That dude right there is so real. Oh, what's up, girl? How you doing? That dude is so real. Like, man, it just the love that dude had for Ringer, my man, it was like everything. You know what I mean? So so when we made the announcement, like you said, man, city wasn't having it. So they started throwing bottles and bottles and bottles and bottles. We had to pack up. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, we're trying to tell them, like, yo, don't worry. H. Ringer's like, yo, my man, relax. Everybody relax. We're going to bring him back down. Because true to his word, Biggie was like, yo, I'm coming back down. Then we're going to do the show. And we'll definitely do it for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was love. Dog. Of course, the city didn't hear the end of that. We ended up going to Denny's after that to chop it up. Mo B, and Clark Kent was like, they were on the phone about it, because Mo was up there with Biggie, Clark was down here, Clark was supposed to be DJing his set, etc. Like, it was just it was crazy, man. But like, I heard him say it, like, yo, Ring, and Biggie said this now, like, yo, I apologize for not coming, you know what I'm saying, but with the root, Clark chopped it up with them. It was what it was, man. And again, this is back to the time. It's so funny because I heard somebody else was talking about the cell phone thing. Like, back then everybody had a cell phone, but you spent money on that cell phone. So everything after 9 o'clock was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody wanted to talk. So, but yeah, man, we sat up in the Denny's for a long time, man, chopping it up and going over shit and just, you know what I'm saying? Like, just it was one of those things, man. Honestly, that was the first show I ever dealt with that had like a call, somebody didn't show up type deal. So, and that's not even, and that's the thing, like, that wasn't something that Ringer was known for, and that wasn't something we were known for. No. So it was like, it was brand new to us, you know what I'm saying? We're like, yo.
Because once again, like everything else, bro, you can't do great shit without there being some sort of shit that's not so great. That was an epic night. It was a great night for the city. It may not have been a great night for you or Howard, but it was a great night for the city, because the city said, fuck that.
We're not having that.
We're not having this. Because once again, if I lived in Kansas City for 12 years, that's another considered flyover city. It's not a hub. But those people, they ride for their Chiefs. They ride for their fucking Royals. They ride for their fucking Tech 9. Like, this is where it comes down to. Like, you can't come in there and just say, oh, they don't get, they ain't gonna do shit, or they don't care enough. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to a real city, Miami, where they'll show us love. You can't do that to people. And I thought that was a great, there's been epic moments in which sometimes the artist shows out, and that's a great moment for the city. And then there's times where the people show out, and it's a great moment for the city. That's
Right.
one of them right there.
But the
Shout
people
out to the
showed out.
Metro. Shout out to y'all for even attempting to doing that. I mean, we needed it anyway, you know,
Yeah.
and that's a part of the good story about Orlando that
Oh, absolutely.
we got people that, you know, they ain't having it. God bless.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right. And I mean, you know, from there we was doing shows at like, you know, like other parties and shows at other spots. For example, like you said, where artists come out and they represent, like, we also had the show like what you call where I want to say it was a Nas show. No, it was Big Pun. That's what it was. And
Right.
it was it was, I forgot the name of the spot, but it was inside of where Magic Mall. So
Right.
that corner, that corner,
You're talking
there's
about
a club
Club
over there in the
Diamonds.
corner.
Club
Diamonds, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was a Big Pun show. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was Fat Joe. That's what it was. It was Fat Joe, and Big Pun was the bouncer for Fat Joe, or was security for Fat Joe.
Right.
But not only was a Fat Joe show, but Shaq came through.
Right.
The Fushnickers came through.
Right.
Nas and them and we were all backstage with them. Bro, that was crazy.
Right.
And they were down here because they was recording an album at Full Sail. See what I did
Shout
right
out to
there?
Full Sail. Let's go.
Yeah, you know I got to throw that in there. So they was recording an album over at Full Sail and amongst other places, but they were doing Shaq's album, and that's when they were all down here at the same time, bro. They came to that show, but that was Tech. Shout out to Tech, man.
Right.
Like that was love right there, man. That was love.
Now, I know I'm an idiot because we discussed this prior, right, to even getting on the interview. It's like, hey, Ron, I want to go passing over, you know, and look, this is what happened.
I know. I told you this, man. It's your fault.
Two people together that rep their city hard and are talking about things which are incredibly beautiful to our lives. Like we're just telling, this is our story right now. And dude,
it's massive.
Keep it moving, keep going, continue, my brother.
Yeah, so hold on, man. I gotta take a break, my nigga. Like, yo, I drink a lot of water, so I have to take a piss break real quick, yo.
I heard that.
Yo, give me a minute.
Okay.
I'm just being me, man. This, y'all know me. I do a gallon of water a day, so you know I'm in my spot right now. So you know I gotta give me a minute. You cool?
We're
cool?
Coming right back with you, bro.
I'm right back. Hold on. I'm right back. Hold on.
I got you. You hear that, man? This man is talking about the city of Orlando. For people that may not know, like all the people that do know, yeah, we know you know. Problem is, nobody else is talking about these things. People are going about their daily lives and thinking like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I didn't know, you know, Biggie, you know, got bottles thrown at him out of Orlando. I didn't know, you know, they showed Shaq how to DJ. Like this is so important. Like we need this. We need our peoples to talk about this hip hop in Orlando. Shout out to Jesse Jazz on the check-in, man. My brother Jesse Jazz, my brother Work in the house, man. Shout out to you. Love y'all, man. Shout out to everybody on the extended play. But you put me and DJ Caesar together, bro. We're gonna talk. It's going long tonight. You know, normally we're an hour. Shout out to Doo-Wop on the check-in, man. My brother Doo-Wop, man. Can't wait to chop it up with you too. Shout out to the Sand, man. Let's go. Shout out to my man Infinite, yo. You know, but you can't put us together and not talk. He's giving you the complete picture of what is going on, you know, when it comes to the story of all things. Hitman DJs, bringing hip-hop in a real way to Orlando, you know, starting that art class of hip hop on 102 Jams, which was important because for a long time 102 Jams was playing a lot of commercial stuff. So when Nasty got on, it just made everything kind of come full circle. We had some more representation in the city. So big up Caesar, back on the check-in.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
My bad.
Let's go.
All right, cool.
Yes. So continue where you were left off a little bit. You know, you're coming we've come up with Howard Ringer. You're
Right.
doing your thing. You start seeing Shaq doing his thing. Explain how things kind of took a big trajectory, whereas you transitioned from y'all transitioned from being the local kind of guys to now all of you are on the radio, and all of you are starting to kind of make that trajectory up. Talk about that.
So are we past? So we're past 91.5 and all that stuff. Because we didn't hit.
Oh no, we didn't even talk about that. Yeah, 91.5. Talk about that real quick.
So back in the day, we used to do so everybody. I mean, not everybody. So Rollins College had a radio show, a station called WPRK 91.5.
Yep.
It was heaven for us because again, like I heard you saying like 102 wasn't really playing much hip hop, at least on the underground level for what we were doing.
From our class, like Rich and Ray, they were just like, to your earlier point, they came, they graduated a few years.
Yes.
We all came from the same class.
Right. Okay, my bad.
Our musical taste was
a little different.
Right, was a little different, and different in the sense of, we were starting to get into that 90s phase where the Mobb Deeps, the Tribes, all the good shit started coming out, and the Wu-Tangs. But we weren't hearing that on 102 at the time. We weren't.
Right.
And this is when Rich and Ray kind of went to Miami. And there was like a break. It might have been a year, maybe two, where there wasn't enough of what we seen going on in the clubs. Like we didn't hear it on the radio. There was no representation.
And so for us, we had an opportunity to play on that station on 91.5, and we took it, man. We was like, yo, we're in, because Nat Nitty, shout out to my brother Nat Nitty.
Yes.
He gave us that opportunity and was like, yo, my man, like let's do this. You know what I'm saying? So we had that Friday night show, and we legit like when I tell you, man, there was so much love with that show and that station, dog. Like, it was beautiful because we could play whatever we wanted. And we had the safe harbor law, so we was all in. You know what I'm saying?
Nap Nitty was the truth. If anybody could find Nap, please let me know.
Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna try to reach out to him.
Reach out to Nap, because
yeah, absolutely.
Dude,
he's in Jersey now.
Dude, that Funky Underground gave all of us opportunity. We were all on the fucking radio when he was on. He opened the door to everyone. He was like, dude, yo, y'all want to come up here and rock? Maybe freestyle a little bit? And that fucking basement studio was everything, dude. Like, we felt like we were walking into 102 Jams at that time. So talk about it.
That was our 102 Jams, man. Like, and we just, bro, we had fun up in there, dude. Like, it was just so open. Like, we just used to have a good time, man. Just kick it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like anytime somebody came through, they showed love. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if we had an artist, and again, shout out to Ringer, because he would bring them up to the station and we would, interview them or what have you. And man, it was just love, dude. And back then, like Tony Touch, and so a lot of people don't realize Tony Touch used to live down here as well.
Yeah, shout out to Tony Touch. ODB, absolutely. A lot of people.
Yeah, ODB.
Right.
So boom, we're in the station, and Tony Touch used to come through and show us love, because Nasty and Touch used to do a lot of stuff back in the day together as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? But when he used to come up the station, my man, like, it was like we would just sit back and just look at him like, wow, like wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was killing the game. And there's actually some videos from floating around out there from when me, Khaled, and Nasty just was sitting literally behind him and looking at him like, what is he doing?
Yeah, I seen that video, and I was like, God damn, what a fucking time warp.
Man.
I remember how we all looked, and I remember you, like, what in that video, just sitting there like, God damn. What? Because he had that aura. Shout out to all my New York DJs. They would just come down here from New York on and during that time, that was the center of music. That's where everything was coming from. And, the West Coast was just starting to kind of come into their own. But during that time, man, that New York shit was was everything.
Everything.
Bro. It was everything.
Yo, and that was when like doo-wop is still on, if I remember correctly. But like, yo, he had that whole 95 Live vibe. Man, listen, bro, like we to get an opportunity to have some of the, even if we were able to get, that's when like the bootleg things started happening. We just had like the white labels and the orange labels and all that stuff.
Right.
We used to get them from Rock and Soul, and it was just like Sammy was up there, was our connect, and we just had we had the outlet, man. Beat Street Records was there too, but like for us, we were connected to Rock and Soul, and it was just like it was everything, dude, because we got all the new music when it came out, or if it came out via bootleg, we got it all. So
you're talking about Manhattan, right?
Yeah. So doo-wop, I don't know if you know this or not, but we used to have like orange labels of some of your freestyles from your mixtapes, and we run them on a show just because we was just like, yo, these freestyles is crazy, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that was just ways of us showing like, hey, this is what else is going on in the hip hop community. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then there was also like the Stretch Armstrong Barbito records. You remember those when those started coming out? The freestyles they had on there,
right?
We had them all.
Right,
man, we had them all.
Right.
So
shout out to New York being the institution of record distribution for a lot of Florida DJs. You don't know how many treks I made back and forth to New York City to go to Beat Street
records,
on Fordham Road in the Bronx to get that fire, man. In that basement, all the white labels, all the bootlegs. I mean, that was everything, bro. And, it's sad to see all of that gone, because the search for records was just as important in a lot of ways as playing the records.
Absolutely, man. That was the thing, man. That's what made it fun. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Just to know we had something before the next DJ had it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like that was it was a competition thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if I don't know if a lot of people may not remember this, but like during our parties, like when we had the hottest record that came out from New York, or that was big on the mixtape game or whatever, the way we dropped it was like at midnight at every party. But we would like have this like something crazy like a scratch record to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, somebody talking, and then boom, we dropped the record. You know what I'm saying? Right. And sometimes it would be, it's funny because I think back to when Redman first came out with How to Roll a Blunt, right?
Right.
And you remember on that album he has a skit. It's like
which is one of probably the best recorded albums ever. There's a Dark Side. That is like the quintessential meaning of hip hop right there. That whole album.
Yes, absolutely.
But continue.
He had a skit on there that was like, "What's up, dog?" It was like somebody was playing some bass music, and it was like, "What's up, dog? What's up, dog?" And they're all laughing and all this stuff.
Right.
So we kind of did the same thing every time we did a party. So anytime we dropped a new record, which by the way was always the theme of the actual party, because again we titled the name of the parties off of the biggest record at the time, and that was that was our concept. So like if it was Down with the King by Run DMC, right? When we did the party, that would be how we would introduce that record, or we play that record prime time, and we would do it by starting off with like a bass set, and people would turn around and look at us like, yo, what y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then we would cut it off, and then we go into the new record, and crowd went crazy, man. That was like, and that's how we kind of like, that was our own thing, because see, that was the thing, like a lot of people came down here and expected us to DJ like New York DJs all the time, but we didn't. We did our own thing. We did it separately and differently than what everybody else would do. Like everybody knew, like there's certain records and sets that all of the New York DJs always had when they came in or what have you, but you would not really hear us do that because we didn't want to mock them and try to say like we were trying to be a New York DJ. We were trying to be who we were and play the music that we all enjoyed. It wasn't about, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that was a thing for us. And that kind of gave us a different, that separated us from everybody. Cause you know what I'm saying? Like, cause we were into like the like making sure that our mixes, and again, there's no shots at anybody, but like for us, making sure our mixes are clean and doing stuff like that, and and bouncing back and forth here and there, but at the same time having our own feel and our Orlando sound for a DJ was everything to us.
Everything, again, we had
bro. And there's a lot of us out here.
And shout out to the Quick Mix.
Because
that Quick Mix this was distinctively ours.
Yes,
I didn't start hearing that quick mix until I started hearing other people doing it eventually years later. But weed had that shit way before. Way before on lock. And you come down here, you hear a sentence, and it goes right into the next joint.
Yeah,
and everybody loved that, bro. Now it's normal. Now everybody does.
Yeah, but that's true.
But we had that shit on lock back then, dude.
And shout out to you, man, because you used to do your thing back in the day too. You still do. So I mean, and I shout you out. I check in anytime when I first started seeing you doing your videos. I was like, yo, my man Rome was on it, man. Blue light, dark shit, just cutting it up. I was like, all right, that's the Rome I used to know from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Because we always had there was my man, this is one thing I'll tell people, when you come to Orlando, if you was a DJ, you better come with it because there's a lot of competition out here, even to this day. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of dope DJs out here now, but back then we had a lot of dope DJs. We had Carlos, DJ Maestro, DJ Chaos. We had, Jesse, yourself. We had Sandman, myself, Nasty Khaled. We had Pro Style, you know what I'm saying? Of course, Jimmy Jams, rest in peace. The Babalu Bad Boys, there's crazy DJs out here, and they got skills. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they didn't know what they was doing. You know what I mean? So that was the thing. When people came down here, they had to represent. It was just no other way to say it. You had to rep, because if you didn't, we was gonna let you know. You know what I mean?
Right. Orlando was one thing I've always loved about Orlando. And for a lot of people, it is a love-hate relationship. It's that Orlando is blunt as fuck. If you suck, you're going to know it. And everyone's going to tell you right to your face, either by walking out or be like, damn, dog, why you why didn't you do it like this? But Orlando has always been that blatant. That's why if anybody, learned how to perform out here and bless stages out here, this place will teach you the very fundamentals of what it takes to rock a crowd out here. Straight
Absolutely.
up. Absolutely.
And for us, man, there's just no other way to say it, man. That was the beauty of what we had going on in Central Florida for the whole hip hop community. You know what I'm saying? The ability to get out there and do our thing, and along with bringing other people on up with us. You know what I'm saying? That was another part of it too. It wasn't just about what we were doing. It was also about what other people were trying to do in the same community for the same purpose. Hence the reason why, our flyer guy, a lot of people out here to this day, that if they're promoters, because I still promote, do my thing, but if they have a specific flyer guy that they use, they don't allow nobody else to use that person. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that for us. People ask us who you drew your flyers, we tell them, Neil. He's gonna hit you in the head for it, but he draws the flyers. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was, and that's how we always did things. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, if there was another crew that was coming up and they were like, yo, C's, how did you guys go about getting this place or renting this place out, the Rotary Club? Granted, we had priority over a lot of people, but if they needed to connect, we were talking to them. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Orrin. You remember Orrin, the Deputy Sheriff Orrin?
Oh.
He was that deputy at the Rotary Club.
Oh, yes.
Yo, he didn't play.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. But that was awesome. He was an awesome for what he did back in the days. He made sure it was good. Right.
You know what I'm saying? He held it down for everybody. He protected us. Yo, he wouldn't fuck off. You
and I don't remember a lot of stuff going on crazy style
back then
during those events. Anyway.
No. We didn't really have problems like that at all. We had a couple things that happened at the Rotary, at the Lebanese Club. But honestly, man, our security was pretty tight, and they pretty much held that down. So there was no real like Lenny and them, Elliot, all the Oak Ridge heads, they didn't let nothing really pop off like that. And if something popped off, it was meant to happen, or it would be in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. That's the one thing that I will say that, again, with us having grown up with everybody, it was about respect. So even to this day, if I know something's about to go down, I'm out there talking to the people yo, my man, listen. So we have the party, man. Let's just vibe, dog. Keep all that dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Back then, we used to do the same thing. Yo, I jump in the crowd. Yo, calm that shit down. Yo, relax. If you got something that has to go, You know what I'm saying? Like do that outside after the party because we want to be able to come back here next time and do the same thing. And you already know, ain't nobody gonna let us into all these other places. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you
No,
don't stop, then
I remember the music cutting off several times.
absolutely,
You know, I mean, it was just like a fucking PSA over. All right, motherfuckers,
yeah, you gotta talk to
y'all
them.
better chill the hell out because this ain't happening. But anyone that knows anyone knows, like, you know, who wants to be that guy that ruins the jam for everybody? Like, people were there to pick up girls, people were there to meet people, you know, smoke a little, whatever. And why would one dude want to ruin everything? So, very rarely, I ever seen conflict at y'all's thing, and that's kudos to what y'all brought to the table. And we had a lot of crazy music going on at the time.
Yeah,
I mean, shit that would send people into frenzies. Shout out to
absolutely,
you know, straight out of Compton causing so many robberies in Orlando, and you know, fuck the police and all of this stuff. But during that time, during that '90s time, like I said, we attracted people that tended to appreciate the class that
absolutely
we offered, right? Or that
absolutely,
you know, and other places not so much, but you know, that's neither here nor there. I think we need it all.
Right.
All of it's a part of the story. But yeah, so 91.5, you guys get on 102 Jams.
Right. So
and
moving to 102.
Yeah, and talk about that. Talk about that.
So, and honestly, like, you know, like with a lot of people, so Nasty got on 102 first because he had the opportunity from the DJ battle. That was part of
right.
Yeah. And so from that, it gave him the opportunity to get in on at 102. And Bartel was still there. Rest in peace, Bartel.
R.I.P. Bartel. Let's go.
Yeah. So, you know, that was big. So Nasty, you know, got his shine with that. Myself and Khaled, we still didn't get that opportunity at the time because we were, you know, we weren't in that world yet. Because again, Nasty, rightfully so, he had been the DJ. He was the main DJ for the longer period of time, so he had that opportunity. But we had also started off like doing things that, again, this is where, you know, you talk about the Caribbean side, like You're Making Me Crazy and all that stuff. Like back then, it was a little spot off of Kirkman that was across the street from Universal Studios. And 102 used to be involved with that back then as well. So we started getting some
out to the mill. Let's go.
Yeah, the mill. So, you know, CCD Reggae Ambassador and some other cats were, you know, really holding that spot down. DJ, of course, was helping out with that. And then OMB. So we really got an opportunity to kind of get mixed in with that crowd. And Khaled and Khaled took to the reggae thing real heavy at the time. I did as well, but it was also mainly with hip hop. So we got a couple of chances to DJ and do some stuff within You're Making Me Crazy. Again, we were still kids, so it was 21 and up, but we were doing our thing anyways. Barbarella's, we did a night with You're Making Me Crazy over Barbarella's when it was downtown.
Shout out to Barbarella's.
Yeah, man, that was the thing.
Bar club that was pivotal in the hip hop culture out here.
Absolutely.
In Orlando.
Absolutely. So then all of that stuff picked up, flew into the mid 90s, which is when I personally had, you know, again, I had my daughter, I had a son also that was born a year after him. So I was on a different level in terms of like, okay, well, I had to kind of like resize up my priorities. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I went into the military, I went to the Air Force. Nasty and Khaled was still doing their thing. Khaled he broke off and moved to New Orleans. And you know, everybody was still cool. We still communicated everything. I do my thing in the Air Force. Come home.
Thank you for your service, brother.
Oh,
I remember that moment where he took a leave of absence from Orlando, which was quite incredible at the time because we were so used to seeing everybody's face. Once you started seeing people disappearing, it was like, oh shit, what happened to
what's going on?
Well, yeah. It's like we must be getting old as fuck now, bro. Everybody dipping. You know,
but I mean, it was love though, man. Like, you know, I like I said, I had to get my priorities. You know, I had my kids, man. Like I had to take care of them at some point. So I figured, well, you know what? Let me try. That's the one thing that the DJing thing didn't provide at the time was like any security. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, it was
speak on that real quick because you, out of a lot of people, have the power to talk to people in a real way.
Okay.
how hard is it as a DJ to live a decent life, you know, at that point and raise kids, have a family, that's not easy for a lot of people. If you could say one thing to people that are on the fence about, doing it for real, what would you tell them?
Ah, man, that's a tough one. Yeah, it's not easy. I would definitely say always have a plan B, or actually have a plan. I say like a capital A and a lowercase a, basically, right?
Right.
So the capital A could be, if it's going to be the DJing thing, you run hard with it. And your lowercase a is having a full-time job during the daytime. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or even during the nights or whatever. But you got to have something, because it's not like, especially nowadays, man. It's definitely like you don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, we're in a whole nother world, like with this COVID situation. But like
Right.
back then, we were really like, you're buying equipment, you're spending all this money for equipment, and then you go DJ a party, they're trying to pay you like $80, $100 to do this little house party, that type of stuff. Like, it just wasn't, you couldn't survive off of that. You know what I'm saying? So
you couldn't survive off of it or maintain a family, because a lot of those nights, you're not getting home till 5, 6 in the morning. So if you
oh man, it's a struggle.
You're putting them through, and you're sleeping during the day while your kids are up,
while they're taken care of. And that's the thing. Like, my parents helped out a lot with that. And of course, my daughter's mother at the time, because we were apart. So she was doing a lot. Obviously, she did a great job with that as well. But like, the thing is that for us back then, like, if you DJ'd a party, you may have gotten $200 for the party back then, for example, right? That's a lot of money back then. Again, I'm talking the early 90s, right?
Right.
But you spent like $600 trying to get your record correct, your crates right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're buying vinyl.
Well, no downloading.
What I'm saying? Like, man. Like a 12-inch, if you found it at Peaches, was $5.99 or $7.99, depending on, you know what I'm saying, which one you found, right? But if not, you was ordering it from New York. DJs would get together and ordering groups of records from, so that way you wouldn't have to pay shipping and handling individually. You know what I'm saying? But like, other than that, my man, like, we were spending a lot of money. I know you were too. You know what I'm saying? Like, ordering records from New York.
We were all, and a lot of people don't realize, for a DJ, a lot of your investment never really gets paid back. Because back in those days, because you're trying to acquire all of this stuff. And sometimes you might, to your point, you might get $80, $100. I remember at the height, it was like $200. But even that, to your point, it's just paying back what I have to spend anyway.
Exactly.
I'm going to spend $200 on records.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean,
you have to do it for some kind of love.
Oh, absolutely. It was a passion, dog. Like, oh, absolutely. And I mean, like, you stacked records upon records upon records. It was no, like I said, until we got into the radio world, there was no free records for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, so once we got in the radio world, then that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, initially, like, that was, shout out my brother Jeff, man, Mees, aka Mees. Somebody I went to school with up at Tuskegee. He's been my brother ever since. So
yes,
like,
sir.
But so yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, we were spending a lot of money trying to get records, and like, we get paid this little money for the parties. And again, for me, man, like, it was about how is that going to add up for me in the future? You know what I'm saying? Like, and what can I get done with that in the future? Not that I was giving up on it, by no means. But you remember the conversation go back to when my parents were telling me, "Yo, what can you do with this in the future?" So like, for me, it was like, all right, cool. We got a lot of money from doing our parties as kids, right? I was blessed and humbled about the fact that the money that we got from the parties, I was able to put that back into, a vinyl collection and things like that, buying equipment, whoop-de-whoop. So that way we were always good, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't let that like escape me with the thought of, I still got to struggle at some point, because if the parties don't pop, or if something else, and there's going to be other cats that are coming along, or, it rains or something, I don't know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then we're stuck. That's the thing. Like, at the time, we were depending on what the crowd was coming in. If the crowd wasn't coming, then we didn't get paid, as promoters, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as DJs, you may not get paid as a DJ either, because they hit you with the at the end of the night, oh, I didn't make that much money, talk and listen, I don't want to hear all that. Like at the end of the day, like I didn't come here. You paid me to come here and DJ. I sat here the whole 4 hours or 2.5 hours or whatever. I sat here this whole time and did my part. You coming to me at the end of the night because people didn't come ain't got nothing to do with me. That's because you didn't either do your job or whatever. But the bottom line is, I need to get paid for the time I've been here. And they would try to hit you. And I saw, like Infinite shouted out, like, he talked about some situations and scenarios that happens to all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it's not discussed. It's not really talked about enough because the DJ
that was hard
is sometimes looked over when it comes to the value of them.
Man,
right?
Yo,
especially now where everybody thinks because they got a YouTube channel they can DJ. I can put a playlist together. I can play a playlist together. I'm a DJ now. And that shit is ridiculous because all the years it's taken you, from the purchase of the first equipment you bought to all the records, to all the hours, all the man hours you spent practicing,
right?
To all the mentorships, dealing with people, asking questions, all these things that you've learned over the years. For someone to come along with a YouTube page and say, I put these 100 songs together. I bet I could rock the house better than you.
Nah.
How does that make you feel today? When you see the arrogance or sometimes the devaluation of a DJ, how do you feel about that?
Man, that's a tough one.
You might not have dealt with it personally, but I know you've seen the trend of how people kind of feel like, DJing is one of the few jobs where people feel like now they could do your job. Like no other place would that ever, be a response to, right? Like we don't go into restaurants talking about, no, I'll serve the dinner.
Exactly.
But with a DJ, people come in there now because they might, be playing an album song and come up to you and be like, yo, how come you didn't play this? It'll make my night. But that's not. We don't come to your job to do your job. How for DJs do people feel like that's a place now for them to say they could come and do your job? And they might not even hear you play the first record. A lot of stories I've heard, they didn't get on yet, and they're already given a list of demands per se. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, that shit irks me. I'm just gonna be just straight up about it. Like, yeah, that's a problem. Like. Yeah, that shit irks me. Like, there's no other way to say it. Like, it's not cool because we put in too much work. It's more of it's about respect, man. Like, it's an art. You got to make sure that people respect what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they have to understand, like, we put in work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at the end of the day, like, like my man Mees is saying, like, if we're not DJing, you don't have a party. You know what I'm saying? Like, DJ is the lifeline of the party.
Because sometimes we get equated or lack thereof to, let's say, liquor, right? But to your point, if a person didn't make enough money on liquor or the person didn't make enough money at the door, the music still played. The music was still valuable enough. The way you rock was still valuable enough. So, like you said, at the end of the night, when they come with the stories, oh, we didn't make enough money here, so we can only give you this. That wouldn't work under any other scenario, even for people that perform. Because if you're a rapper or and y'all perform, y'all ain't trying to hear that shit at the end of the night. But DJs hear that shit all the fucking time.
Well, and here's the thing, and to your point, like that's one of the reasons why we wanted to make sure, like we did our due diligence on the business level. So that was the advantage we had because we have been promoting. So when they try to hit us with that I'll call it the sob story, right? Right. When they try to hit us with that, they're like, hold on, don't do that because I already know what it is. Like we promote, so we understand. And I know what the bar does, and I understand how that liquor works. A drink, to make a drink, I mean, I'm kind of putting this out there now, but it is what it is. Like a drink in the bar, when you pay $8 for a drink or even $5 for a drink, it only costs them at most $1.20 something just to make that. Not even that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for you to tell me, Oh, shout out my brother Cool Rock Ski from the Fat Boys. Check
shout
it.
out to Cool Rock Ski on the check-in.
Yes.
Looking forward to chopping it up with you this week on the show, bro.
The
Legendary.
original. Yeah, the original from the Fat Boys. Boy, I used to stick 'em, ha ha. You know, that's every DJ's favorite record.
That stick 'em was so hard and important. That in jail. Oh my God, Jailhouse Rap, man. Come on. Man. Shout out to Cool Rock on the check-in. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So I mean, like, and that's my thing. Like, for us, like, every time we went into a venue, they would, if they told us that, even as aside the Hitman thing, but even as myself as a DJ, again, I could come in and tell them, like, and I'll say this to anybody that's coming up in the entrepreneur world, like, know your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you go into a business, know your business. You know what I mean? Like, and for DJs that are out there looking at this or coming up or that have been in this system and can't figure out why they can't get around, like, not getting paid and stuff like that. Like, it's about you knowing your shit when you go into the club. If they try to hit you with that, let them know. Like, yo, my man, listen, you just sold. I see 100 people here. First of all, if they paid to get in the club, it's $10. If I'm asking you for, I don't know, $400, right? Let's just say 400, right?
Right.
It only takes 40 people to come in the club at $10 a head for you to get paid. You're telling me I see 300 people here. You're telling me you can't pay me because you didn't make enough money or whatever. It's $10 to get in the club. 40 people pays my bill. That's it.
Right.
That's just from them getting in the club. Now you want to go into the bar situation, forget about it. Like, if an average person drinks like $40 a head, an average person, let alone those people that are buying bottles and all that other shit. Like, a bottle at the store costs you $30. You go to the club and buy it for $250. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna tell me you're not getting money? You know what I mean? Like,
when everything's a markup. Right.
Exactly. Everything is a markup.
When they come
so I understand.
To the club.
Yeah. So I hear them like, oh, I pay rent. That has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. Because, and again, we took on this whole concept going into promoting as well. Like, when you, exactly what Jesse said, when they get to the spot, like, when we promote, if you don't, like, my partner Jay right now, like when we do parties, we have our money. We know it's like whatever our overall expenses are, we have that ready before we do the party. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so that way, if something goes wrong, we know we can pay it regardless. That's the same way regular business get, that's the same way regular business needs to happen. Like, if you come to a club to DJ, the business should already have, for all their employees and all that other shit, their expenses should be ready, especially if the club is like downtown or something like that. Like, come on, man. Like,
so every DJ probably across the country knows when at that you're not getting paid until the end of the night. And then you gotta wait for the promoter to count his money, count all that shit. And normally, it's like, dude, like you said, you're at the point, because it's not like it's done kind of randomly. They know what the fuck they're doing. It's 4 in the fucking morning, 5 in the morning. You want to get the fuck out of there. You're probably loading up all your shit. And here they come with the business that they know you don't want to hear. So it's kind of like, if I could just kind of nudge a little more, and shout out to Jesse Jazz on the suggestion that, yes, like artists, DJs should be paid up front. I don't give a fuck what happens,
and they got to do with us
now. Pay me now, and if things are good and you want to tip me later, give me extra, then you can do that like a fucking server. I'm giving you the meal now. Pay for the meal now, and then pay me when I'm done. Like, that's good business, because that puts everybody in a position to say, you know what? Hey, bro, I need to think, like you said, I need to do my business. I need to promote harder next time. I need to, but you're not how many promoters have become enemies to DJs or enemies to artists? And it's because they're doing haphazard stuff that causes this to even go down. And they might have the followers, they might be able to bring the crowd, but you lose good people that way, and it always comes back to haunt you. Once people know you're a crook, they don't want to fuck with you.
Man, listen, and that's the thing. That's why I say, like, if you, if once you learn how to do you do your business. Cash App is a move right now, but you do your business now, like you know what it is to promote and do all those things. Like you can't, nobody can pull that dark cover over you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and as long as you go in there headstrong with that, remember you got the power, man. At the end of the day, like if they say that they're not going to pay you whatever, cool. I'm not DJing your party. Like it is what it is.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you got to establish that respect from Jump Street. And to Jesse's point, like it's not. I'll be honest with you, it's not a normal thing for DJs to get paid up front. But once you establish that,
it should be.
And then,
but it should be.
Oh, absolutely,
to
absolutely.
This point, because a lot of times
Absolutely.
what will happen is they'll say, "Hey, we want you to DJ on the 15th, right?" And so then, okay, well, give me half up front.
That's the way it is for weddings.
And then, right, because with weddings, you do that. Give me half up front. When I set everything down and plug everything up and everything looks pretty and it's ready to go and I'm ready to go on, that's when you pay me the rest. That's how weddings are done. That's how corporate events are done.
Now, to my DJs, I just play. But no, you're absolutely correct. And that's
Remington.
I know.
Pay you up front, all right?
but see, that's the thing. Like they know because we've established our relationship. They know, like, yo, we always come through with ours. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no like you got to get like you establish your representation. Like they understand. Like, yo, there's no I don't know if I'm going to get paid type thing. You know what I'm saying? And even, for example, with Ringer, same thing. Like, once he took care of us, we knew how he did his business. You know what I'm saying? And it was always like, you knew. Like, yo, it's no question. Like, I don't care how the night's doing. He made sure you got paid. He might tell you, like, yo, it was bad. It wasn't something didn't go right or whatever. But, yo, I'm going to take care of you guys regardless. And then you kind of knew. It was like just because of the shit that Ringer did for us, like, you just knew, like, yo, it's all good, man. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be that person to be able to say that. At least give me that chance to say that. Here, hold your bread, man. It's cool because I know you got us on the next go round. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? And that's how you do business. And that's where like that bond and that relationship starts happening. And you just move like that. And once you move that way, then that's cool. But until then, nah, man. These people got to come up with the bread.
The relationship factor to me is damn near 80% of it.
Absolutely.
Good business sometimes in some scenarios you have to put yourself in a position to find out what can happen. Now, that's what relationships with strangers that you have no interest in creating a relationship with, then yes, everything's fucking no. You pay me when I show up, pay me when I'm out, see ya. I don't even want to know you.
Right.
But what we do is soulful. We're products of people that you ain't just gonna play music you don't feel. You're not one of those DJs. I mean, shout out to all my DJs that or jukeboxes that just play what everybody basically feeds them, and they play it. But there's other DJs out there like your Kid Capri's, your Ron G's, others who y'all play because that's the way y'all draw. Y'all are drawing with records. It's live art. And so that requires a certain level of relationship building. You can't just show up and work with people you don't like or don't get along with. You got to work with people that are kind of like at least somewhere on the same mission as you, if not, kind of related to what you're doing. And so, I'm just saying that to say at the end of the day, Kool Rock Ski, shout out to Kool Rock Ski that said it, they try to devalue and make DJs like a dime a dozen, and that know their value, and there's a handful of good DJs out there that a lot of cats nowadays are overnight music laptop DJs, and he's absolutely right. Yes, cheaper, and shout out to Infinite, he said the same thing. You may pay $50 for that DJ, but you're going to get $50 results. The problem is when they pay for that $50 DJ, they come to you with that with that mentality that they just spend on somebody else, but they know he's whack, but they're trying to, I paid him
get over on you.
Motherfucker, that's why you coming to me, because that motherfucker didn't do shit. You paid him 50, and he didn't do nothing.
Right. And and it's crazy because like we all tried to come up. We all came up under like the concept of like, yo, I gotta do whatever I gotta do to get in there, with that type of thing, right? So
yes.
I'm not. But
DJ Nasty on the check-in. Yo, me and Caesar had a meeting, and we've come to the conclusion you need to be on the show. Get out of here.
Nasty hit me with the Daddy LC. That was my nickname back in the day.
Yes,
and shit. Cali was called DJ Double K.
Oh wow! I think I remember that. Well,
Yeah.
But I mean, DJ Nasty, my brother. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, man. Like, I mean, Nasty would tell you, like, man, we done been through some shit. Like when it comes to like people trying to do that. And again, that's why we always came from the level of, we're going to just come in and promote the night. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can't pay us as DJs the value that we know we're bringing to the table. Like, you just can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and until the era of Firestone and Matrix and Metropolis, and like when Orlando really started becoming like, you know what I'm saying? Like it really, like until that era, like DJs just weren't getting paid what their value was. So that's why you saw DJs coming up as promoters. Like shout out to Greg G and the rest of the cast. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why.
Shout out to Greg G. He's coming on the show too, man. Greg Street.
Oh, dope.
Yes.
And that's why, because shit, you wasn't getting paid as a DJ. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, all right, cool. I got you. I'm gonna come and do the same thing, and we'll skip all that other talk. And now we're getting the door money, so you can't really say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was that. But that's the thing. But like, yo, like I keep wanting to call Kurok by his real name, but like Kurok said, like there's so many people that devalue what it is that the DJ has to bring to the table. Not just the DJ, but the artist as well when it comes to shows and stuff like that. And as a promoter, I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like Jesse will tell you, like we've had conversations where like, certain artists are trying to get certain dollars, I guess the best way to say it, right? And we just be like, I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the reason why is they've been through it. You know what I'm saying? They've been through the wash, and they know, like, yo, my man, like, you forget what we've put out there. You know what I'm saying? And so once we look at it from that perspective, it has to click. Okay, cool. I got you. I see what you're saying. Now, if they come to us and say out of love, like, yo, don't worry, I got you, then I'm going to respect that. You know what I'm saying? Right. On the flip side, I have to respect when they say, yo, this is how much you're charging. If we can't do it, we just can't do it. I have to respect it, though. You see what I'm saying? That's the key. If you can't do it, don't deal with it. Even with these artists nowadays, like, I understand where they're coming from. I mean, I always agree with the price that they're asking, but I understand where they're coming from because they've been robbed of what they should get financially from the labels and all the other stuff. You see what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation. But it's relative to the points that we're making, because
absolutely,
a lot of us deal with each other and we're hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone's been robbed, so he's treating you a certain way. He doesn't want to get robbed, or he made a bad decision. Maybe he spent too much on promotions, and maybe he wants to take that back from you. It's normally the people that, are always kind of harmed that tend to hurt others. And it may not even be their intention. It may not be a fucked up dude, but hurt people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And a lot of times when you're in the business and you're not knowing and you're trying to figure things out, and a lot of this game requires a lot of hero ball, which is dumb on its face, but people don't really help you when you're at the bottom, right? They only help you when things are good. Right. So you go ahead.
And that's the thing that we learned the hard way, but because of the lights that were shown to us by like the likes of Ringer and the venues that work with us and stuff like that, that's where we got the different perspective to make sure that we carry that on moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why even to this day, like the likes of like with Nasty, I don't know if he's still on here or not, but even with like Nasty, like, you're talking about somebody who's, I mean, Dax is big, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and should be, you know, and Ken has the potential to DJ and has been DJing major things.
Right.
But you could still catch him at a local club that only holds like 150 people. You know, they can't pay him what he's worth, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's out of love for what he loves doing and for what we have here going on in Central Florida, that he's always in the clubs to still do what he wants to do. And I'm not.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you good. You good. You good.
No,
go ahead.
and you just said something that, in general, we all need to take stock of, which is part of loving something is dealing with sometimes the devaluation of yourself. Because if you love doing it to the outside world, like you just said, damn, bro, you could be getting, you know, Dubai right now or China.
Right, yeah.
You know.
Right.
But you over here, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, sometimes others see our worth more than we do, right? So that's
true.
That's normally how it works. But you have to love what you're doing. You have to love what you're doing. I think that's where all the money is anyway. Absolutely.
And the same thing, and like, stick with it. Like, that's why I tell a lot of people, like, yo, if it's something that you found yourself and you was good at doing, like, don't stop just because things change. You know, you have to adapt a little bit here and there, whatever, cool. But at the end of the day, you can always come back to what it is that you really love doing, i.e. what you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Or like what I've been doing as well. So when I got out the military, for example, when I was in the military, I still DJ. When I went to Korea, I DJed over there, which, by the way, and I mean, everybody knows now because of social media, but back then, like, not many people realize how many other DJs and other countries, you know, show love to hip hop. Yo, my man, when you go overseas, it's serious. Right. So when I was, you know, during that time, my Siri just picked up because I said that, but back then, like, you know, when I was in Korea, I got to link up with a couple Korean DJs. You know, that's when like the whole the DMC battles were like, and they're still big, but you know, like everybody watched them on, you know, like VHS tapes and all that stuff. And like, so I actually got to meet some of them cats and like chop it up with them. And you know, they still doing their things in the club. That was a blessing, man. So like when I came home, I got out the military. I ended up going on tour and doing some things as a DJ, as like an opening DJ for different local pop groups. But I still kept it true to what I was doing with hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because those pop groups wanted to have the hip hop feel to it. Right. So then I moved on from there, and of course, Nasty put me on with that situation. So that was a blessing. And again, this is the love that we have for each other from day one. That like when I left and I came back, it was still love. The city still showed me love. So that gave me the opportunities. You see what I'm saying? Right. I then, like I said, again, I like, you know, to bring it back to the business thing, like I wanted to make sure I was able to set up something for my kids for the future and for my family. Because I, you know, at some point I realized, hey, look, if this doesn't work as I'm getting older, you know, I needed to make sure that I was able to do things that would kind of create a foundation for me and them and for the within my city. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna break away and go to college because that's something I always wanted to do. I actually wanted to go to law school and you know, keep going from there. But I went away. I ended up going to Tuskegee University, and I didn't stop what I was doing. I got to Tuskegee, and guess what? Me DJing and promoting, doing parties, helped me go to school. You see what I'm saying? Like, so, and it's not cheap because it was a private school. So, you know, like, you know, and that's where I linked up with Jeff, or AKA Mees, the guy you saw I was talking about earlier. Like, I linked up with him. I kept the Hitman thing going out there. Same thing, man, same concept. I took it. Flyers, went around to all the dorms, the condos, all that stuff, like passing out flyers. We did parties. We rocked it in Tuskegee. Well, shout out to again my Tuskegee University fam. It's homecoming this week, so it's the virtual homecoming week right now. So you know I gotta shout that out. But yes, sir. And we went out there, did our thing, and then I linked up. At the time, my roommate was DJ Scream, and of course he wasn't really known for like the mixtape game or anything like that at the time. But like, you know, we were just bedroom DJs out there doing my parties, what have you, and yo, my man, he and I connected. We became the Hitman Productions out in Tuskegee. And my dude, like we did the same thing we did in Orlando. We moved that to Tuskegee like 7 years later or 6 years later. You see, let's say I started in 98, so 8 years later. And it lasted through my whole career at Tuskegee. Now look at DJ Scream. He's a lot of people know him as DJ Scream from Hood Rich. And that's that, you know, like he's been doing his thing. And like, it all stemmed from when we were doing our thing at Sneaky. So it's the same concept. We just moved it into a different platform. You know what I'm saying?
You hear that, Orlando, Florida? Do you hear that? The man said he just is a magnet around people that just tend to do great things. And, you know, like I said, like we were talking earlier about relationships, you're one of those guys, which I've known most of my fucking life, which it's hard to not want to be around you. You know, you have one of those personalities that anyone that's got a mind and is not an asshole could want to talk to and build with. And as a result, you know, you've been around some very special people or helped them along the way become special. Even when that wasn't your focus, you were just there, you know what I'm saying? And,
right.
And to your point, like to be able to rub off on people that way and allow them, you know, a space in your world. That's right. That's everything, bro. That's how love, special man. Orlando and your legacy has been out here. You touched a lot of people. You dealt with a lot of people. I just, you know, not everything is not always about money. Sometimes it's about helping others, and sometimes it's just about being a good dude to inspire others. And you've been one of those people from day one. Since day one, I met you. You know, I could never in a million years feel like, I don't want to be around it. Like, you know, even though
love, man.
That wasn't my role or my relationship with you, I still seen that. It was seen and it was respected. Like those are good peoples over there. That's good people. And that's all you could ever want from anyone to be able to say about anybody. Yo, that's good people right there.
Right. That's love, man. Appreciate that. And then that from there we transpire into like when we come back down to when I graduated from college in 2003, come back here to Orlando, and this is when Nasty's already, you know, deep into 102 Jams, and so to bring you back to that part of it, you know, Jimmy Jams is there again. Rest in peace, Jimmy Jams. Like it 102 at that time was on fire. I'm not even, you know, I mean, like it's crazy because I thought I never would have thought I would have said that back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, man, because again, Nasty and Khaled and I, we weren't really interested in being commercial. You know what I'm saying? Like that was, it just happened. You know what I mean? Like, so.
And it's not easy being a radio DJ
for a
conglomerate, you know, because people don't understand. You're trying to do what you want to do. Like, I know and I talked to Rich, shout out to DJ Rich. You know, and there was a lot of times where he wanted to do something, but he couldn't because the station prevented him from doing it. And a lot of people don't understand that. We just yell at him, like, yo, why the fuck you, how come you ain't play, blah, 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 blah. We yell at him, but the truth behind it is it's not, you know, it's not his decision to always make. Everything is a fight. Especially
but we tried.
Yeah.
Oh, but we definitely like, and I'll admit, like that Nasty and Pro Style, like during that time when I came home, man, they were killing Nasty. Dude, like they were killing it, and they were able.
They had the green
absolutely,
light, dude. I remember those years, and I was like, oh hell no, y'all finally doing this shit.
I know, man.
It was so dope. It was so dope.
But you know why though? Because again, this is where they understood that the value of the DJ was real. You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, it was when I came back, like Nasty and Pro. It's funny because I used to come home from homecoming and like show my peoples like, yo, I'm telling you, Orlando's got it. You know what I'm saying? Because Nasty and Pro had the ability to transform what was happening in the clubs to the radio and take it back to the clubs. And it was nonstop. It was, you think about it, like the city had Tuesday, every night was popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Wednesdays, Thursday. Like it was So let's say if I skip Monday night. So Tuesday night was Dragon Room with Chino and them.
Right.
Wednesday night was Taboo with Nasty and Pro Style. Like Thursday was Antigua, if I remember correctly, or maybe that was Tuesday. But I mean, it was a
great time for.
Oh, it was crazy.
Music,
Roxy,
vibes, clubs for Orlando.
Cairo.
There was a Cairo. Yes, the Palladium.
The Palladium, man, like it was everywhere. So it was Cairo. What was the other spot? So Cairo, they own 2 clubs. So it's Cairo and Benny, I'm not there yet. We're getting there. Hold on. There was Cairo and
we got an Icon shout out too. Icons,
that's what it was. Icons, yeah. So it's Cairo and Icons. You know what I'm saying? Like people bounce between the two. Like Icons Thursdays. That's what it was. I knew it was something. Thank you, Nasty. Then there was Friday nights. And then Matrix and Metropolis started popping. It was like shit. Like there was a lot going on. And then so when I came home. I was it was crazy, dog. I mean, it was a lot of shit going on, and then I got an opportunity to play again over at Destinies. I got an opportunity to play over at Matrix and Metropolis with Alex not Pro Style Alex, but Alex from Pressure Promotions. Shout out to them. They brought me in. My man Dean, they brought me on board over there, and I was kind of like the resident DJ, which is crazy because this is the situation I had. And again, this is why I say during the Matrix Metropolis days, like that's when shit started changing for DJs in Orlando. Like Greg G will tell you, like that's when the city understood like the DJ was everything, which is why 102 was able to do what they did. But bro, I had insurance from DJing as a resident DJ at Matrix and Metropolis.
You hear that, Orlando? The man had
insurance. Son, I was like, I'm in heaven right now. Like, I don't need to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm doing my thing over there. Boom. I play one night. Nasty introduces me to, and I already knew him. Nasty says, yo, you need to chop it up with Stevie, man. Stevie sees us back in town. He was another part of the Hitman Productions back in the day. Yo, I'm telling you, whoop-de-whoop. So we started talking. Stevie the Man used to always like live in the club. Basically, he was at the time the program director for 102 Jams.
Shout out to Stevie the Man.
Absolutely. So yeah, definitely. So he was like, yo, how would you feel about trying out, doing an old school set on 102 Jams? Like, of course. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even need to breathe. But my thing was, I didn't want to disrespect Jimmy Jams, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause like I grew up listening to Jimmy Jams. Like Jimmy used to hit us off with records and everything. Right. So I was like, but what about Jimmy Jams? He told me like, yo, he's got it. I forgot. I was filling in for him. That's what it was. Right, he had to go on vacation or something like that. So he just wanted to try it out. I'm like, my bad, dog. Excuse me, but. Jimmy was like, Stevie the Man was like, yo, just come in, try it out, etc. So I was like, all right, cool. My man, like I came up there. I was, of course I had to practice and get all my shit together. But here's the thing. Again, because they showed us, the station showed us love, like I got to come in there and do what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, it was my vibe. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to come up in here and play the shit that I used to play back in the day, along with the stuff that's currently on the radio or that came through the radio station at the time, and do it, kind of put my little spin to it. You know what I'm saying? And then I did that, bro, took off, just out of here. Like I was, people would hit me up. Like I hadn't heard from it in a long time because the station reached a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Right. I said, yo, this is amazing. And at the time, Stevie the Man was going through, he had, cancer. I don't know if a lot of people knew, but he had cancer at the time. So he was like, yo, I need you to make sure you keep me, like, through his treatment. He wanted to make sure I kept him, like, in a happy vibe. You know what I'm saying? So if I could prove to him that I could do that, then he would let me have the show. I was like, again, what about Jimmy? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I guess, I don't know what happened, what the talk was, whatever, but he was still at the station. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. As long as he was still at the station, it was love. Bro, I went in. I was just doing whatever I could do to make sure I kept that dude happy. But at the same time, I was still being me. So, man, I was playing Lords of the Underground. Like, I was playing all the Dots Effects records. You know what I'm saying? Pete Rock, CL Smooth. And my man, like, they had a text line, and it used to blow up. And I used to, like, I would, you know what I'm saying?
Because once again, that was during... For all the people that grew up here and had to go through we're not playing real hip hop shit, that was
Right.
like everything. You know, that was
Then-
like, dude, you're finally fucking playing hip hop. Tune into that shit. And that, still, that was like right before all the fucking internet craziness and social
Exactly.
media and accessibility to every record. We were still all radio dependent. We had to listen to the radio to listen
And
to
it was
something,
vinyl.
you know, right. And it was so important for the city as a whole. And I remember that time, man. It was just a great time. You know, it didn't last that long, but it was just a great time for like, it was kind of like a crescendo. Like it all built up to this point. And
Absolutely.
You guys were definitely spearheading that whole movement, which was dope.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time, man. It was me, Nasty Pro Style, Jimmy Jams, DJ D Strong,
right.
Chino. Like we had, think about it, like we had, I feel like there was more mix shows than there was regular programming for as I 102 Jams, like, because I was on
crazy.
Which is
crazy.
Very crazy, because I was on for like, it started off as 25 minutes, or actually started off as 20 minutes. It became 25 minutes. It became a whole hour for the Back in Day Buffet. And then Nasty was on for the traffic jams for the I forgot. I think it was called Traffic Jams, right? Nasty, something like that. But that was at 5 o'clock. Then we came back. He came back at 9 o'clock for another show with Pro, and it was like, man, this shit was just crazy, man. Like, I think it was called the Thunderstorm or something. Like, we had it. It was crazy. Then Friday night I was on for the Friday Night Jump Off, which is like, I literally would go open up I would open up over at Matrix on Friday night, then leave there and go to the station while whoever was at the station I was coming on listening. I was going to the station listening to Jimmy do his thing. That's what it was. And I would listen to him, and then I would go on after him, and then D Strong would leave the station and come to Matrix or Metropolis and do an hour before Chino came on for Friday nights. And then the same thing happened with Traffic Jam. That's right. Traffic Jam that's right. And then from there on Saturdays we had the Saturday Night Bomb, and I would do the same thing. I would go do my set at the club, wait for Nasty and Pro Style to get there, and then I would leave there and go to the radio station. So if they were late coming from the radio station, they was messing up my vibe going into the, you know what I'm saying, leaving the club. It was crazy. So we had I-4 literally, like, I was going east and they was coming west, or they was coming west and I was going east. Either which way, we were always passing each other. Like, yo, my man, like, we had it was a blessing, dog.
Now you hear that, Orlando? He's giving you context. He's giving you backstories to a lot of people who kind of just show up and think that all of this stuff just happens. He's putting it in context for you so that you know there took a lot of coordination, a lot of years of sacrifice, a lot of not knowing, and then all of a sudden one day, boom, hey, this is what I've been working for this whole time. You guys were able to kind of realize that as a unit and not be so far removed from each other that, you know, it was kind of like it happened to one but not the other. Movement, those years, it was kind of all kind of boiling and coming up to this particular point.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. And again, man, if it weren't for Nasty really making that connection, like, I wouldn't have been on 102 Jams. There's just no other way to say it. Like, it was, and you know, he told him, like, yo, you got to be a part of the team. Like, I mean, I know I didn't get to hear the conversations, but I just know how Nasty. I know his talk, so I know he would. You know, his talk was to Stevie the Man was like, yo, he's got to be part of the team because he's foundational from what was going on here in Orlando aside Jimmy and Twice as Nice. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's what's good about your story, because it shows people how it is when people pull for you, right?
Absolutely.
And respect what you're trying to do in life, you know, because for a lot of people that may feel alone or that they don't have people that look out for them. I mean, this is a story that reminds, you know, people, hey, bro, there's always somebody out there pulling for you, man. You just got to believe in yourself enough to get there so where they can actually help. So a lot of people can help you. You're just not at the point where they can help. Right?
100.
And you were probably at that point in your life where that call, yo, C's, you were at the place where you could accept that call.
Absolutely.
And get that pulling, which was dope for the city. It was dope for you, but for the city, it made us, it gave the city, like I said, hip hop culture pride that we're not so commercialized or so sterilized or homogenized that we can't, as a city, get past It Takes Two. Shout out to Rob Bass, but play more stuff that represented our hip hop ears as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what happened was, and you've been there, you know what time it is, when people say, I'm going to play some hip hop, and they're just playing hip hop that you wouldn't listen to, right? And that's been the fight of Orlando forever.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
No, mother.
Nah, not what I want to hear.
The whole story, not just one story. Play the whole thing, even if it's something that you're not necessarily into. Be fair about it. And the city was, I say this all the time too. Your radio station should represent your people. Otherwise, it's taxation without representation. It's basically sitting there playing shit for a whole nother place, but it doesn't represent your city. You're telling the city to listen to this, which is good too, but not everything should be that way. There should be some, I'm on the radio, you're on the radio. We know the struggles, but there should be a lot more local representation than there is. Speak about
that. And so that's the thing. Man, there's a politics about it all. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I know.
Yeah, there's always a tricky conversation,
but speak of what you can on it.
Absolutely,
and paint a picture to anyone that's listening that may say, "Hey, well, how do I get my stuff on the radio?" And a lot of this stuff is hard because for people that are on the radio, you guys, us, we have things that we need to do. But when you go to New York, you hear New York represented on the radio. You go to LA, you hear LA you go to Atlanta.
And this goes, and like earlier prior to the actual setup, like that's one of the things. And I definitely want to bring it back to that. So I'm glad you brought it up. Like there's a period where like this was the fear that we had going into commercial radio for the longest time, just being straight up, right? Like, okay, well, damn, we're not going to have the freedom, the flexibility to do things that we wanted to do. That was what made 102 back in the day so unique. You know what I'm saying? Because we had that freedom and flexibility. And it was more of like when people were coming at us like, yo, can we get this played, this, that, and like, yo, my man, like you have to present it, you know what I'm saying? Like as a package. So everybody wasn't really doing their business part of it like they needed to originally, right? Because there was times where there was a lot of Southern artists that got opportunities to do things and it was through like, J Love and stuff like that. He had like the homegrown show and things of that nature during his, he had like a little skit that he did that went along with it, right? But there were heads that would just get at us like, yo, C's, I know you got, this, that, and third. I'm like, yo, my man, I can't do it during my mix show, number one, because I was in an old school mix, so it didn't fit. You know what I'm saying? When I got into doing the Friday night and the Saturday night bomb, I could try to squeeze it in, but I had to make sure that it was something that just made sense. So what I used to do is, and what Nasty and Pro used to do is like, yo, do me a favor, get the hottest record at the time and put a freestyle over that hot record. And that's how you can get you know what I'm saying? Like that was a way of getting yourself in. Obviously it's not going to be your original music. I get it. But it's a way of getting yourself in. So that was kind of like the start of that for us in Orlando. Because again, we were always like, that's the part, like you said, like there's that big difference between New York when it comes in Atlanta or any of those major cities when it comes to that.
Even Kansas City. I lived in Kansas City for 12 years. They play the hell out of some Kansas City artists. Shout out to all my Kansas City people on the check-in. And they're corporate radio station, but they still, because once again, there's a demand for it. There's a demand from the people
to this day
to represent the people's voice. Because
I agree.
if you come down here and listen to radio, you'd swear there's no fucking artist out here sometimes. I was living in Kansas City, and I was like, man, I hope they start picking it up. I come out here, first week I'm back. I'm like, are you kidding me? There's not even a representation. Because I'm coming from a place, like I said, Kansas City, which they play their Kansas City artists
right
all day long. I mean, that, you're going to hear everybody else, but you damn sure going to hear what Kansas City sound like. Same with St. Louis. You're going to hear what St. Louis. Shout out to Nelly and all that.
And that's
you're going to hear that.
Yeah. And that's
Orlando,
the way it is with like Texas.
There's nobody out here. And that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. To someone that just came back, it doesn't make any sense. To anybody visiting, it seems like this is such a generic city. Play Magic Mike Cuts the Record nonstop. At least.
Now I do. Now, now I try to get that in my mix show, so I'm gonna still try to get that in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, play. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Play that. Play something that speaks for the people in the city. And I'm saying all of this rhetorically because I know the challenges.
No, absolutely. So and I mean,
I'm giving voice to the people.
I got you.
Want to know why
trust me.
Not a clear representation of our city. Why can I hear the West Side, the East Side, and the South Side in one day, let alone a week?
I'm gonna tell you
on the radio.
I'm gonna tell you one thing I would say that would really help local artists get to where they can get the music to where we can play it. For example, is they have to come together and represent the city. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, we kind of touched on. So boom, you just validated the necessity of this show, because the point is, as long as we're playing hero ball, meaning, I represent this clique, I know these people. This is the point. We have to start getting it past us and more towards, like you said, the city. It's about the fucking city. And how does this city sound like? Does it just sound like Pine Hills, or does it sound like the East Side too?
And that's what I was gonna say. And that's what I was gonna say. Like the more the local artists, because I like. Even to this day, I still try to make it to Monday nights down off in Winter Park over at the for the freestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like over at what's the spot called? The Little Cafe. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, you talking about shout out to Sniper. Yes. Damn, I'm having a brain freeze right now.
It's just outside of Rollins. Just before you get to Rollins.
Right.
Yeah.
Right on Fairbanks. So, yes.
Yeah. So my point is Austin's Cafe, yeah. So and that's the thing, like there's a lot of sound that comes, that's here in Orlando that individual artists are always packaging for themselves and maybe a couple people outside their clique. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But they're not coming together. Outside of like Soliloquist, the Sound and all the cats, like
shout out to Swamp. Let's go.
Swamp. But they have a sound that people know in Orlando that vouch for them, I guess, if you will, and they package their stuff so everybody knows about them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they promote Hard Body and they marketed themselves, and that's what kind of gave them more of a platform aside their talent. Just the fact that they did that. There's not enough of the true heads that are out here that really put in the walk for the talk, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, yeah, they package, they do videos and stuff like that. Cool. And I respect that. There's nothing wrong with that. But the reality is you've got to market yourself. If you're not marketing yourself, then the people don't know who you are. So only the people you grew up with, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not good enough. As an example, like shout out to Trill, for example, right? These are cats I never knew before, from back when the way we rocked back in the day. I would have never came across their music, but I saw this stuff like the West Orange County thing and the Orange County, like, and I saw them everywhere, dog. Like I was like, yo, and then that led to them getting more notoriety to where they got their songs played on the radio because we had to, because we're playing the music in the club. It wasn't because they came to the station and said, yo, the station had to go to them basically and say, yo, we're gonna run your record, because the labels up north and other places found out about them and was like, yo, what y'all know, like legit was calling us. I'll never forget the day. Shout out to Sam Crespo from Atlantic. And if you know anything about the record label business, like, you know, Sam Crespo is that dude for Atlantic Records. You know what I'm saying? And he reached out to us like, yo, what y'all know about these cats Trill? Nasty will tell you the same. And we're like, yo, they're bubbling. We play them all the time in the club. It's just off of one record. You know what I'm saying? And it was the way they marketed themselves that got them noticed from him. And that was because some of his people were down here doing some other business, and they was at the club and they kept seeing all the stuff.
Right.
And that's how this stuff got played. And it got to 102 Jams. And it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it hadn't hit. They didn't get their, you know, whatever happened with their business there with Atlantic, but it didn't go through like it should have through the typical record label channels as people know it. You know what I'm saying? That was a local thing, and they got played. I'm not going to say that it was always in rotation, but it wasn't enough, and we were able to play it because we had no choice, because the city loved their music. And if all these hip hop acts that you and I know that are out there, for example, and there's so many of them, like we referenced them as backpackers back in the day or whatever, you know, to this day or whatever,
or, you know,
however you want to call it,
anything, right? It just,
however you want to call it, like all those acts and those artists that are out there, they could to this day still be doing the exact same thing that these cats Trill did. They just don't want to come out the pocket. They want to talk, and they don't want to do the walk. And I hate to say it.
You hear that, Orlando?
Yes.
Caesars gave you a business model, a blueprint, if you will. Get your business together. Start talking about the city as a whole. Combine like Voltron. Do what you need to do to make yourself noticed. And, you know, work with other people. I mean, to me, a lot of this would be pretty much solved if the city could somehow link better as a unit, as a cohesive unit, to create, like I said, when you come down here, you know, just like I get giddy when I'm pulling off that GW, when that Hot 97 comes through, because I feel that New York sound. Or when I'm in Atlanta, you know, turn on Atlanta radio, I know I'm going to hear the sound of Atlanta. This is the point. This is what we're trying to do out here, man. We need a sound of Orlando, period. Yeah, so when you come down here, you know, okay, I'm only going to get this here. Like Nelly was big before he blew up here. He was big in St. Louis. He was he was the sound of St. Louis during that time. And, you know, and they played him. And they played him.
And same thing for like Louisiana, you know what I'm saying, and New Orleans and all that, like that, and that's why, because again they marketed themselves like Juvenile, the whole Cash Money thing. You already know what that is, you know what I'm saying, like and Atlanta, big time, and like the whole Atlanta movement, you know what I'm saying, like all them artists are out there because they hustle, dude, they hustle. There's and if you even take back to like when Orlando did have its sound on the radio, which is, you know, you kind of mentioned some of it, like you go back to Rip It Records with 95 South, you know, Quad City DJ, shout out to all of them. Like the reason why they were on our radio is because they represented Orlando, but they also marketed themselves heavy. So did Magic Mike. You see what I'm saying?
And Atlanta, truth be told, claimed it as their own sound. And we were the father of a lot of sounds that came out of here that Atlanta just copped and said it was their own. You know, so when you're out of the state, you hear these stories of people, and you're like, "What are you talking about?" That 95 South, they from Atlanta, 69 boys, and I'm just like, "Come on, man! Like, dude, that they don't know." And when you explain it to them, it's just like, "No, bro, I know that sound distinctively, and that motherfucker is Orlando. That's how
CC Lemonhead,
right? That's how Orlando sounds. It's not Atlanta."
And that's the thing, like it happened before, so it can happen again. You know what I'm saying? But again, I say to you, and this is where, like I was telling you, like, you know, a tri-state area is really heavy here in Orlando, Central Florida, and so is the Caribbean, right?
Right.
Even the Haitian, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, shout out to Jesse, man. You ain't doing no work,
Jesse,
but
bro.
5-star graphics. But like that's the thing, like,
let's go.
Yes, sir. So that's the thing, like a lot of those sounds that are here in Orlando, like it's too much of like, yo, I'm from the Bronx and, you know, I'm from Queens, this, that, and that. Like I got you, but you ain't. half them cats have lived there in a long time and don't plan on moving back there.
Right.
But if they're artists and they're trying to do their thing here in Orlando, you have to say, yo, I'm in Orlando. And,
Right.
and they're not willing to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm repping Orlando. They're not willing. They're just not willing. They say it a little bit. They kind of dance around it. But to them, they feel like, okay, other cats from other cities are gonna look at, but that's old, man. Like this is new wave. Like, it obviously the internet has changed everything. And to your point, like Nelly and them did it. Every major city, and even the cities that aren't major, have their own clicks and their own sound that comes out of it. Obviously, Miami has their thing. Rick Ross, Trick Daddy, Trina. You know what I'm saying? Now Khaled is out there. So like it's always been a thing where music has always come from those areas and they had their own sound. Luke, obviously, I can't forget the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like that's where that's our biggest problem, dude. That's our biggest problem. Nobody wants to claim Orlando. Nobody wants to claim more. My girl even said to me the other day, like, yo, why do you keep telling people you were born in Jersey when you grew up here? I was kind of sort of that dude, you know what I'm saying? Like a little bit, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I love her to death for telling me that. Like, you know what you say, your rock is always going to tell you, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she told me straight up, like, you sound corny when you say you were born in Jersey, but you grew up most of your life here, this, that. So I try to weed off of that. But, like, I only lived there for 5 years. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here in Orlando. My sound as a DJ is somebody from Orlando, Florida. People ask me, yo, you feel it?
Oh, you definitely on the or the sound of Orlando, homie. I mean,
yeah.
Even if you didn't see that, I see that.
Yeah.
So that's that's just what that is. There ain't no way out of that one, buddy.
And that's the thing. Like, it took, it takes that in of itself. Like, I have, like, I remember, like, I used to see people, and I got tired of, like, really stepping in those conversations, but, like, on Facebook, like, people would post, like, yo, Orlando DJs ain't trying to rep Orlando people. This, that. No, that's not true. Y'all just are not coming with something that says to us, hey, yo, believe in me. Keep it. Let's do something. You know what I'm saying? It's always these little individual projects that they don't see it out all the way through. They just give you a video and they think that that's going to be it. They're not putting in any work, and we should be putting in the work for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you come with
it should be but still, to a lot of people, and like I said, I'm just playing devil advocate.
Absolutely.
Speaking in rhetorically. To a lot of people, the question becomes, at some point, how do we make this happen? Because the old ways, yes, they may have their time, but what about now? And this young generation, the marketing game is pretty much, is the money might not be there, but they grew up with phones. They know how the social media thing goes. They know how to make things viral. We're from the analog era, so we're kind of feeding off of them. But
what can work
at some
for the
point, we need to be the example.
I agree.
Not
you
the
said
laughing stock of other towns and other cities, and be on the right side of history of how can we help this, be realized, because this can't go forever like this, because that would suck.
I agree.
We're not, even Cleveland 100%. Had Bone, goddammit. Like,
I know.
At some point, we can't just be, well, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault.
No, absolutely. I agree with you, and and shout out to Smiles South Star, because that was another example of trying to come up like that.
Star, yes.
It's just a matter of, honestly, man, like, let's just, and I've tried to, honestly, like, I try to be as available as possible to do these things, because the times that people do look at me and say, "C's, man, you have a platform." You know what I'm saying? Like,
so much is given, much is expected. Right.
And so, I try, man. I really do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I try to be involved with the conversations and discussions. Honestly, man, I'm just trying to do, like, again, like I said earlier in the conversation, take it back to like a Jack the Rapper, a Good Finching, you know what I'm saying? Like, do something like that so we can get it moving. But when the conversations I've had with a lot of local artists, it stops. Like, they just fall off the planet type thing, you know what I'm saying? And I don't understand that. Like, I see them talk a lot. And again, maybe I'm not as piped in to a lot of, I realize, like, you know what it is? Like, I'm kind of like, in the Rich and Ray situation where like I
Right.
wasn't as locked into, you know what I'm saying? So you know what I did? And I'm older now, mind you, keep in mind, you know now, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, right.
so I said, you know what? I'm gonna start going to some of these shows and seeing what's really going on. Like, so, you know, the spot over off right in front of Full Sail, like, you know, they have a lot of old school shows and graffiti shows and stuff like that, people performing. I try to show up and pop up in those places. You know, I got a crazy life, but I'm still trying to understand, like, what's the sound that you guys keep talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
that I'm missing, because I
Right.
damn sure try to make sure I was able to look out for people and put other artists in. Like, I had little projects when I was at the station and I was trying to get off the ground. The artists and they were dope artists, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, shout out to my brother Era, you know what I'm saying? New Era, Aaron is his name. Like, yo, he's got talent. But whatever took him a different path for a little while was his prerogative. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and whatever takes people other paths is their prerogative. That's cool. But don't come back and say we're not trying to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, absolutely.
and that's the thing.
Right. Absolutely.
But I'm telling you, to this day, I still like I keep my email on my Instagram and on social media, and I tell people, yo, they hit me up like, yo, can I send you my record? Of course, send it to me. If it's not good, it's not gonna get played. Sometimes I'll give you that. You know what I'm saying? But and I say good, I mean in good quality. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I don't pass judgment on people's music because I don't like a lot of stuff. Just being transparent. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
but it's not about me. It's about what does everybody else like. So when songs make it to the radio, for example, like we all know there's like one hit wonders that are garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Vinny. Talk about it, Vinny.
yes, absolutely.
At least send the DJ a clean version
and
right.
a dirty.
And they don't.
Yeah,
and sometimes they don't do that.
What can I do with a dirty record?
They want
Nah.
You can't.
Nah.
If you want exposure, you're gonna have to. You have to take some response. But that's what I'm saying. It's just how do we build a better mousetrap? You know.
So
it's not. I don't think it just lies with one side saying, "Well, we're doing what we got to do," you know,
right?
Because that's not a solution either.
No, it definitely has to be conversation.
Only build the divide further, because for people that feel like, you know, they don't have a voice or they don't have any representation, I mean, no one would want to listen to that anyway.
No,
I need to do everything. It's all of us, right? You know, it's just like politicians. I'm not saying you're saying that.
Yeah, you know, no.
What it sounds like is it's not a productive way of bringing this to a head and kind of.
I agree.
And kind of taking things into another way, because if we look at any of the examples, none of them are working. I agree. As far as the sound of the city, as far as being known for something other than NSYNC, you know, and things that are no longer, you know, like there's plenty enough going around right now that deserves an ear. But to your point, I'm in total agreement with you, needs to represent the city more and not just their neighborhood. Their neighborhood is not enough. You need to represent the entire city. You need to say, I'm representing this fucking city. The Magic have fans coming into those chairs, and I tell people this all the time. The Magic have people coming into those chairs every day, even if they're losing, because before it says Magic, it says Orlando.
Exactly. That's big. That's big right there.
It's welcoming. It says you're all welcome. As soon as we start fucking telling people they're not welcome, then only people that are a part of what they're doing are going to support it. And in this particular circumstance, we don't have that luxury. We're not established. We haven't established ourselves as a musical city like a Bronx did, you know, to fight with Queens over. Like they can battle amongst each other. That's fine. But New York City gets full representation, whether they are battling or not.
Right. And when that happens with the representation, if and whenever somebody represents Orlando, don't fuck it up by getting caught up in the streets. That's another problem we got. We have artists that have the sound. Again, I don't necessarily like it all, but there are some local artists that I go and look on social media and they got like millions of followers, legitimate followers too. And it blows my mind. But then I go find out, yeah, but they're also about to get locked up for this. They got some charges,
Right.
the street talk, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's another problem, you know what I'm saying? Again, and we amongst our hip hop heads, as we know it, we don't always have that problem. But the difference is we don't do, again, like what needs to be done in terms of the marketing, the business aspect. Whereas the people who end up getting all the followers and they got the marketing, everybody in the streets know who they are. Granted, most of those people are from Orlando, literally from Orlando, like they were born in Orlando, what have you. But they've done their due diligence to promote themselves. They just keep fucking it up afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So bring it back to your point, like we just need to come up with like I don't want to call it a committee, but we just need to have something where like everybody
solution to the
absolutely
problem that
absolutely
we have
because
representation in this city.
Because there are enough people that have come from Orlando that go out and do big things that like I've mentioned earlier. You know what I'm saying? Be it Pro Style, be it Nasty, be it Khaled, be it like, even like, the likes of Chino, there's Tony Touch, you know what I'm saying? Like even on the techno level, there's which one of those DJs used to be a student at UCF, or which one is it? Like one of the cats that do all the remixes and all the crazy shit. Like a lot of big DJs. We got DJ Freefall out here. But I'm just saying, like, like, is it Tiesto? Is it one of those cats?
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but we don't. But they just don't. It just needs to be more of, like you're saying, more of a representation. Hence the soul show. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. and the more we get to that place, and you're doing it yourself, and that's like, for me, it was a no-brainer when you asked me about coming on, and I mean, it's just a no-brainer. And the sad part is, to be honest with you, I'm not upset, but I'm like the sad part is you went away to Kansas and came back and are doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why haven't the people that are here been able to do this? You see what I'm saying? Like,
right. Without needing some sort of, this person is a part of my clique, without needing to, somebody pay me to do it. I mean, this should be done just off rip, out of the idea that if we establish our identity as a city, we become that much more powerful. All the people that may be struggling eating right now will be able to eat because people actually are wanting to look at the city, see what's going on, versus passing through the city to go where they want to go after that. This becomes a destination that's more than about Disney, but actually for arts and hip hop culture. Because everybody I talk to, their stories are normally the same. Oh man, Orlando's so dope when it comes to the hip hop scene, and it's such a small place, but I was able to do blah 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 and all this stuff. But yet, when you see there being a story about it, you don't see it, you don't hear it. There's nothing being said about this city that brings all this stuff to attention. And hold on, real quick. This is the Sound of Orlando show with your boy Rome, and I gotta love this, brother. We have gone working on 4 hours right now, but
it's crazy. I told you, don't take me past an hour.
Right. This is what's dope about it. We still can't cover it all.
Nah, man.
And that says something right there. This is hip hop right here in real time.
There's a shout out to DJ Khaled. You remember him?
Say that again?
Khaled.
Khaled. He sounds familiar, man.
He was out of the. He was more out of. I think he was out of the BVL and Kissimmee area for the most part. But he was part of like with Full Impact All Stars. If I'm
okay.
So, but he actually did he came by or he reached out to us and he like put together a whole whole historical, because he does a lot of video stuff, right?
Right.
He went and he tried to link up, and I think you were still in Kansas City at the time,
right?
But he connected all the he's basically connected all the dots with a video like a historical video thing that he's compiling together,
right?
And he actually got an opportunity to interview Jimmy Jams before he passed. So he's Magic Mike. He came to my house, and of course I had all my flyers in my room at the time. I don't have them here, but I have all the flyers that from our parties and stuff like that. He went through it, took pictures and video of all of that stuff, and he's gonna bring it all together. So at some point he's supposed to be releasing all that stuff. But like
That's
that,
dope.
yeah, it is. So I want to make sure I shout him out because again, that kind of speaks to the story of Orlando and the fact that he had the mindset to want to put that all together and show it in somewhat of a movie format basically is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Much respect to that. But yeah, man, like, to anybody listening, like I've always said, and I have I don't hide from this. Like, yo, if you want to like to have this kind of conversation, we can discuss it and let's try to figure it out. Again, I'm in another place in my life, obviously, but it doesn't mean that I don't know people that are in the same realm and trying to do the same thing. Like by all means, man, like if we can get together and do a seminar or webinar, I keep saying webinar because I'm so used to doing this in the corporate world now, but like even if it's that's cool, man. Let's do something. You know what I'm saying? Like
and we have the technology now that we, and I would be willing to do that. Bring something like that together where we bring out a virtual, questionnaire roundtable about what we can do to bring some solutions, just like city council does, just like anyone else to help facilitate the sound of our city, so that our city and what we listen to on the radio. Shout out to all my Boricuas and my Latin people out there, but they get representation hard on these stations. They get
because they
right. We don't know who's from here. They do.
See what I'm saying?
We don't, right. But there's still the division there. That's what I mean. How do we facilitate to where all of what we're talking about can be a solution and not a bitching session, right? I want to see this. I want to see this come one day in a more fruition. Yeah, where we can be like, damn, just like you were saying, how long it took for 102 Jams to sound like it did, and then you guys came. That shit.
Right.
And we're not that far. It's just going to require. If 2020 has showed us anything, man, it's going to require just some cooler heads to prevail and look at this from a different standpoint, and not from whatever stances they once held, because it's it's not 2020. There's no rules, man. There's no rules. We don't have to stick to these fucking rules anymore.
Yeah, man. I mean, and especially with the opportunities in doing like internet, like getting the music out via internet radio, whatever the case. Because again, you know what I'm saying? Like obviously I would love for everything to be funneled through my radio station, right? Shouts Fine 4.5. Because that's I mean it's just
just any venue. I mean, we just need to, it doesn't have to be radio. It could just we need a more we need to be recognized for all the talent that's here, that we know is here. And so
that's something that, like, even when Jay and I got together and started doing these concerts, right? Like doing the old school concerts, like that was something we wanted to make sure we got an opportunity to do as well. By doing the shows, giving people opportunities to open up and stuff like that. And even then we caught some flack about it. And I was like, wait a minute, understand something. Like when we first brought down Mobb Deep, it was a big, kerfuffle about, certain artists performing or whatever. Right. So wait a minute, y'all have to understand something. Like, we didn't have to do any of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to do something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just the way. That's the way we vibe. And that's the way we roll. Like, people have these I see some conversations like, yo, and people have mixed emotions about this. Like, yo, local artists shouldn't have to pay to get on shows and stuff like that. I'm not that promoter who's always trying to make artists pay to get on shows. But I'll tell you this. If you're going to go to a promoter that's doing a show and there's 7 or 8 different artists are trying to get on for one slot, you know what I'm saying? Like, the promoter has to say, well, how do we determine who's going to get that one slot? Right. So you got to come with your best game and say, yo, this is why I should be that dude, or show how the city is behind you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, there's got to be a way to make the decision other than 7 groups yelling at you.
Right. So we were faced with that dilemma. So we, like, when we first did the Mobb Deep show, that was the biggest. And I was like, all right, cool. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put these acts on, and then let's try to rotate. So next show we do, we have these acts. So we had, we always and we look to the streets to find out who would be that person. And that's another thing. A lot of artists like think that just because they sound good in certain situations, they got a great stage presence. It don't always be that way.
I mean, some people have horrible, like horrible music on record, but
great stage
live, they're fucking awesome. I mean, that's just the luck of the draw there. Yeah,
it's correct. So that's what another thing I'll say is like with these a lot of local artists and any artist anywhere for that matter, like make sure you got like the package. Again, I can't stress that no more than when I keep saying like
that you do your due diligence, you work hard at your craft, and like my man Rich said, be prepared.
That's what I was about to say, because you never know. You never know. So that show opportunity comes available, and you've never done a show, you know what I'm saying? Or you haven't done one in years, but you want us to go off the strength of who, these people say they want to see me. Those are your fans. Of course it's supposed to say that. But what do you really look like on stage? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how we went about looking to see who are we going to bring into to open up for certain acts or whatever the case be. And bro, like I was amazed at some of the performances. Sometimes back to the way it used to be before when I heard you talking about how like the Missing Links, and I refer to them as Missing Links, but the Warheads, like they used to do shows and they would outdo the artists that was coming in. Bro, we've had some artists who've gotten that much love when we brought in Mobb Deep, or even when we brought in Raekwon and Ghostface, or even when we met the Man and Redman. Like it's possible, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you have to show us. If we don't know who you are, how do we, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are we supposed to get there? And, but I'll admit, it opened my eyes and brought it back, the hunger for what you're talking about to get the Orlando sound. Like Jay and I, when we started doing those shows, like, and shout out to our partner Hurley as well. Like when we started doing those shows, like that's where I got back into it. Like, yo, I get it. That's when we started going to Austin's, and I like Rubach. I mean, is it Rubach? You know who I'm talking about? Like Scott. Yeah, Scott. I call him Scott. We got him to come and do some things, and then of course, we always were trying to figure out who do we go to next to see who can perform. You know what I'm saying? Like even on the DJ level, we had like SPS came out and did a show.
Yeah, I was on the show too.
Yes. Oh, dope. I tried to, and it's funny because I'll say his name and I feel like he's like the Donald Trump of the DJs right now. But like my brother Jay Storm, like, y'all say what you want, but that's my brother at the end of the day. Like I still hold him down regardless because we back. But like Jay Storm, like I've been trying to get him to come out and do like a little set, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. That's what it's about, you know what I'm saying? Like figuring out ways to creatively get people back in, and I'm still trying to do that. But back to bring it back to the whole social, the sound of Orlando, like if we had a seminar like a Jack the Rapper type thing that we could start doing again in Orlando, bro, it would be on and popping. And I don't mean like I don't mean where you're paying crazy money to go to the seminar and all that stuff. That's not the point. The point is like you getting an opportunity to get in front of people and present your music. You know what I'm saying? Right. And if it means, if it means just being based off the fact that people are getting out there and just performing, as long as the expenses, like it's hard for a promoter who's not invested in the capacity of actually being the artist to put on events and without having something to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Like anything else.
These things are expensive. Right.
Like anything else. The question that poses the question: are we a city to be invested in? Are we?
Absolutely.
Do we feel? Cool Rock brought it up earlier. Do we value our city, our artists? Everyone has to have skin in the game. So to your point, if something like that was to go down, where we organize like Voltron and put something together, I'd see that as a win-win for everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not happening. We know one thing it's not doing. It's not happening.
It's sad because it is happening for people from our city, but to other cities, and that should not be the case.
Right.
Like, and I mean, even if it's on the outskirts, like love Tampa, love everything the same as doing.
Right.
But we shouldn't have to go to Tampa just to get that same representation.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there shouldn't be a seminar in Tampa when it should be in Orlando. Then that's happening, and that's not cool. So we'll build and connect on that even more because you've had ideas and Jesse's had ideas and we've tried to. Again, honestly, I'm trying to facilitate some of that through Full Sail, even for that matter, because
and you just like I said, one thing that we know for sure is the other side organizes relentlessly. They build coalitions and they come together, and if they want to get something done, they will. The question is, will we?
Right? You see, we both get that look. You see, we both get that look at the same time, right? And that's the thing. Like,
if you're going off the business models of Miami, Atlanta, they seem to be doing pretty fucking damn good.
Absolutely,
all things considered.
And kudos to what you said, like exactly. And kudos what you had said with like when Infinite was on, like it's our responsibility to show these young cats how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So every moment I can, and while I can, like if anybody steps to me and start asking me questions, even DJs to this day, my dude, and I will always take on a DJ and help them out with trying to, get out there and show them the ropes. Like somebody told me, like, yo, why would you show them that? I'm not worried about somebody taking my spot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
back
I'm
to
just
that slave mentality shit.
Your
dig, dollar is my dollar. And
you dig? Like, I'm not worried about that. What I am worried about is our world not being a relevance to what's going on here in Orlando. So I'm going to try to do everything I can to help the next DJ get in, even as much as I hate to say it, even if it's the new computer style DJ or whatever, it is what it is. Because you best believe when I get them, I'm be like, yo, my man, listen here. You see these things over here? They're called turntables. Let's work with that. Let me show you how the reason why why this is so important. Let me help you understand. Like, you can't always just talk over music to transition. You need to transition because some people don't want to hear you talk. They want to hear the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to make sure that I explain that to them, and then I walk them through the whole process. Like, how do they want to know, well, how do I get paid, the right way? When you go in, this is how you need to talk to the management at the club. Tell them your value, show them your worth, help them understand, like, yo, every time somebody buys a drink, even if you come to the bar, you can flip the script on them. Come to the bar and buy like 5 drinks, bring like 5 other people and buy 5 more drinks. And then when you go back in to ask them if you can be the DJ, you say, you remember that time I came and sat there with 5 other people and we all bought drinks? That just paid for what it was that I'm asking for. So don't tell me you can't pay me. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if the door's free, like you gotta be creative with it. You know what I'm saying?
Hear that, you just dropped some nigga ton bomb jewels on you. Please believe me. This is my brother. I love him. I could talk with you for another 3 hours.
But
I think
we ain't got that kind of time.
We ain't got that kind of time, and I got to bring you back, bro, because you just earned your ticket back to talk about more things DJ and more things Orlando, bro. I love you, bro. I love this conversation, man, and this is dope.
Shout out to Vinny, man, because he mentioned the Tavern on the Lake. I didn't bring that. You know what I'm saying? Like, facts, big facts. Grow together, not solo. Like Vinny mentioned the Tavern on the Lakes. The reason why we did what we did there, just to touch on that real quick, is like for us, again, we were called the Firm at the time. It was me, CC, Jay Johnson, Alex, and Dean. The reason why we did that movement was because we wanted to have a club in Orlando that represented what it was that we all grew up on. So we started it basically with the concept of just playing all old school. And that's what Point Blank was instrumental. And we had reggae on the patio, and it was amazing because we were able to do that and still have people dress up, which people said that couldn't be done. They were like, yo, you can't do that in Orlando. This, that, the third. Like we had basketball players come to us and tell us like, yo, how you going to make me dress up when they don't even do that down in Miami? I'm not in Miami. We're in Orlando. Like when you go to Blue Martini, you dress up, right? So why would you do it for them but not do it for us? That makes no sense to me. Right? I mean, literally. Like some people, I would go to Blue Martini on Mondays. You remember that Martini Mondays? I would go there, like rest in peace DJ AM when he was there, when Jazzy Jeff was there. Cats would be dressed to the teeth, trying to talk to this girl or that girl, whatever. But they want to come to tavern and not do the same and half step amongst our own people. And I'm like, yo, What's wrong with that picture?
Right.
So what we did at Tavern of the Lake was a beautiful thing because we were able to keep people dressed up, still maintain our music and our vibe. And when I mean it was a vibe, it was a vibe. I mean a vibe. For a long time, it wasn't about the money. It was about the fact that we were presenting something to Orlando that they said could not be done. Just like when we did our party back in the Hitman days, they said it couldn't be done.
Right.
Yes, it can. And to this day, any promoter that wants to do anything in respect to that whatever their vibe they're feeling, they can do the same thing. You just got to go out and do it because we're bringing back the old school concerts and we're doing we have our old school parties that we do. We're doing another one coming up, a skate party. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it can always be done. You just got to be passionate when you do it. And if you mean it from the heart, then it's going to be done. If you don't mean it from the heart, you're just trying to get that money. You're in the wrong game. You're in the wrong
man.
Game.
You heard it, bro. Game. That's my man Caesar, Mr. Star 94.5.
Yes,
Mr. Hitman, Mr. Legend, Mr. Man of our town, Mr. Caesar. Give it up, brother.
Man, I appreciate the love, man. I'm humble.
So glad to have you, brother. So glad to have you.
Rome, again, Orlando, man, let me tell y'all, understand something. The man that's giving you this platform right here is DJ Romeo. Understand? Like, see, I think I saw his name is with Rome and all this. No, I know him as DJ Romeo. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, my name's, I'm telling you, if you're, I don't see you still doing the mix. Like
yes, I'm on
and I always,
Saturdays.
Okay, cool. Because that's probably because I'm on at different times. Right. I'm always trying. Like, when I saw you first come back in town, I saw you doing your mix. Even if I was the only person when you first started like doing the mix, I legit, and I hated Facebook for this because I would go and I'd be working out, and if you on the iPhone, if you close it, it shuts it off. Like, damn,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you fucking up my vibe. So like, I had to sit there with the phone on in my pocket while I was working out because you still holding it down, man. Like, always. So remember. Aside all what he just said about me, like, the man that's giving you these opportunities to see all these people is, you got a lineup coming up, son. Like, you got a line up for real. Like that's Romeo, DJ Romeo. Understand? Like, DJ Romeo. You know what I'm saying? Like, and make sure you show him love because if he didn't, it shouldn't take him to have to come back from a city that he went away to see how things were going on in the other city to come back to Orlando to do what he's doing now. It should have been done a long time ago. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and then we wouldn't be having this conversation. So, and I'm guilty of that too. Even though I still try to do as much as I can, it still needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I appreciate you for doing that, man, because the city needs this, and that's why I support you 100%. And then just hit me up. I mean, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always in to try to support the social. You know what I'm saying? Like, and anybody else that's done like, Vaughn and them, Vaughn got a family. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But anything that they do, like, like I see him, post some things up, and like Red Rum and all them cats, like, trust me, like, if I get an opportunity to support it, I'm supporting it 100%. Obviously, if I don't see it and I don't hear about it, I can't support it. I'm just leave it at that. So, and that's for anybody. You know what I'm saying? So keep doing you, man. I appreciate you for doing this, man. Like, I really do. I really,
man.
really do.
And that means everything, man. Shout out to my brother DJ Caesar joining the Soul Show, man. I love you, man.
Yeah,
keep doing what you're doing. Rep for the city. And hey, bro, that's all we got, man. That's all we got. Shout out to your boy. Real quick, he's on the check and he says, "See you in November. One love."
Oh, Doc One.
Yes.
Doc One, Smooth Joint Production, right there.
Yes.
Oh, man. Absolutely.
Yes. So yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna have you back, bro. So
hey, hit me up. You know how it is, my brother.
Thank Caesar for coming on the Soul Show with your boy. And man, it was a dope night for hip hop in Orlando. Trust me, son. Trust me. It was awesome. Awesome to be able to talk that long with a brother that represents hip hop the way he does in the city. Shouts out to the Hitman DJs. DJ Nasty, DJ Khaled. This is what we call hip hop in Orlando. So proud to be connected to that kind of cloth. Hey, man, I got a busy week, man. He's just the first guest this week, man. This is awesome. So, hey, thanks for tuning in, man. We're just trying to give you the story, man. We're just trying to tell you the story. That's all we're trying to do. Let's go. Shout out to Orlando. Let's go.